got me thinking things I didn't mean to. You got me wanting things I never wanted. Is this the way you always get what you want? Alright, alright. You got me right inside of my head. You got me so, so close on the tip of your tongue. This is the way you always get what you want. Alright, alright. Let's do and say that we're done. Let's do, I know that you want to. Let's do and say that we're done. Say that we're done. Let's do and say that we're done. Let's do and say that we're done.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL.
Looks like the players are ready. Here we go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where it is week 3, day 3 of our challenge season here in EU for Call of Duty Mobile. And it's a very exciting day today as well because we get to start in a new group, and you'll know what I'm talking about here in just a second. My name is Glitter Explosion, and I will be your host. Casters who we're going to be bringing in here as well. We've got Bobby and Proper to kick things off here in EU. Bobby, you have just been absolutely inundated with COD-M stuff this weekend, straight off the back of a watch party. How you feeling?
I'm feeling surprisingly refreshed. You know, watching this much COD Mobile esports is not for the faint of heart, but I've spent many years preparing for this and excited to hop into the action here in EU. It's been spicy so far, and we got one of my all-time favorite EU players, Marvel, going to be in the action, so should be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have definitely been looking forward to when we get to Group B to start talking about that. But Proper, new group, new day for EU. Are you excited?
I am absolutely excited, you know, for very similar reasons like Bobby was just talking about. We get Animus back in action today, so that should be a very good time. It felt like forever ago that we started talking about Group A. I'm just about ready to chomp at the bits to see who makes it out of Group B, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're officially on the second half of our challenge season now. So if you guys are just joining us here or you missed anything that might have happened in the first 2 weeks, or you just want to keep up to date with what we've got going on throughout the rest of the year, follow us on social media, X, Insta, and Facebook for all of the latest updates, everything related to the Snapdragon Pro Series. Or you could join our Discord at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series, where you can join our community, talk all things Call of Duty Mobile, and of course, continue getting all of our updates. But let's talk about how everything works here. Okay, I've mentioned it. We're in a new group. If you don't know what that means, we'll do a quick review when it comes to our format here, because obviously we started everything off, at least on the stream side of things, with our open finals. Okay, once our teams got through those open qualifiers, they get into the open finals. Then we make it here to the challenge season. Our challenge season has our top 8 teams in the region broken up into groups of 4. We've already done Group A. We did the first half of EU. 2 teams are now qualified through to our challenge finals, which is the next stage of the competition. And now we're going to the other 4, our Group B teams, who are going to be fighting to do the exact same thing. There are 2 more spots left on the line for our challenge finals, and that's what they're fighting for, on top of a little bit of cash dollars as well, Proper.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like some good old dollars, right? I mean, $2,200 for first place is pretty good in my opinion. But at the end of the day, it's all about just making sure you're staking your claim as the #1 team in Europe. I always keep saying this, and I will continue to be a broken record until you prove me wrong, Europe. I don't care about the prize pool. I want to see you do well on an international stage, but it all starts with this stage here.
I mean, we have quite a few teams that we're looking at when it comes to EU. So we'll take a look back at our Group A bracket so you guys can get a little bit of a recap here for what happened last time around. Those 2 spots that I was mentioning in the challenge finals were claimed by both Exclusive and S Cubed, Bobby. And Exclusive is a team we've been talking about quite a lot.
Yeah, and for good reason. They've been at the top of the EU scene for quite a bit. They maintained their dominance, and they really showed it there against a Triple S squad that I think caught a lot of people off guard, a lot of teams off guard. Certainly didn't have a ton of experience as far as Tier 1 tournaments heading into the competition, but they were able to lock in a challenge final spot as well. Obviously, Exclusive the team to beat so far in the competition from everything that we've seen, but Triple S put up a solid fight as well.
Absolutely. Things that will be interesting so far for our challenge finals, but we need to get 2 more teams in there. And in the same fashion that we have exclusive as that team to be in Group A, we now have Animus in Group B, and they are going to be the one that everyone has their eyes on proper.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look at this group, and even if you are a slight fan of Call of Duty Mobile when it comes down to the European region, you look at this as like, okay, who's just joining Animus? And it's going to be a really tough shake for RHH. That is your first draw, but it could also be a statement match nonetheless. Animus are the #1 team in Europe. Nobody is denying that, but I got a lot of eyes set on that second match right down there. I mean, PBM versus Vanquish. In between those and RHH, it should be a very stiff competition to see who the second qualified team is going to be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good way to kick off Group B and kind of get the lay of the land for these 4 teams that they've been able to kind of wait in the wings and watch how Group A progress, and now they're the ones that kind of have to step up here to the plate. We'll see exactly what we've got here for the schedule, because what we're doing today is all upper bracket, same like we did for Group A last time around. So that means we're going to be doing the Animus versus RHH match, and then we'll go on to the PBM versus Vanquish match. Then we'll take the 2 winners of those matches, and that's the upper bracket final. We will literally be qualifying the 3rd team today to the challenge finals. But the good thing about that means that anybody who loses today will not be knocked out of the competition. They'll just drop down into that lower bracket, and then they'll be waiting there until next week to have one more opportunity to claim the last spot in the challenge final. So a lot on the line here for our squads because they kind of want to get this done and dusted out of the way. And one of the teams that's definitely going to want to be doing that is going to be Animus. We've got that Animus versus RHH match coming up here first. So we'll take a look back at some highlights for how they even got to this stage of the competition, Bobby, but this is going to be a tough fight for RHH.
Yeah, no question about it. You've just got so much experience on the flip side. And RHH, not a bad roster. A number of different players that you'll likely recognize from past seasons. We got Sushi from RM a couple seasons back. Star Raker, just across the board, solid experience right here. The bigger issue for them is just going to be who their opponent is heading into this one. So they handled business as needed in those earlier rounds and making their way through those open qualifiers. The big task up ahead is going to be the preparation for a team that's as experienced as Animus, but I think with the amount of promise that we've seen from some of these players, they're certainly capable of doing it. It's just going to require a really high level of execution.
And that's something we talk about a lot, right? Proper, like the open finals is very different from the challenge season. The challenge season is very different from the challenge finals because the level of competition just goes up every single time, and it's about what work have they put in the downtime now from the last time we've seen them to really face off against a juggernaut like Animus.
Yeah, and it's all of that work, then it culminates to having to be that David versus Goliath, right? We wouldn't have that narrative without this beautiful storyline of starting in that massive pool of groups and finding yourself to this very moment in time. And like Bobby was saying, you got some tenured names. They have been in this position before, and every single time they go up against a top-notch team, specifically those on the opposite side of the lobby, they have come up short. Now it's time for another test. Interested to see how they show out.
Yeah, Bobby, I know that you're excited for Marvel as well.
Yeah, obviously he was not in Europe for the last year as he was playing with that Vitality roster, and I think for all intents and purposes he was planning on heading back, but Vitality actually departing from Call of Duty Mobile meant that roster got completely blown up. All the players went different directions, and now he's back in EU with a team that, if he's planning on playing champs this year, we could see stick together. I would anticipate that likely the result of this tournament will play a factor in that.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely always on everybody's minds. While it might be at the end of the year, that's the ultimate goal, is making it through all of our challenge seasons throughout the year. I mean, Mobile Masters, and then of course champs. That's the end all and be all. We talk about it a lot. We want to see what other regions can really compete on that global scale. Will EU be able to get themselves up into one of those top spots as we get a chance to take a look at RHH's roster here as well? Touched on them a little bit when we were talking about those highlights here already, but the last thing that we really need to talk about and see what they've chosen here is those picks and bans. This will be arguably the most important point for these two squads here proper.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just an unfortunate kind of decider there in the middle, right? You got the Takeoff Control. They actually lost that versus Kantic Nation. So you already had to wipe that one off the board when you're looking at this best of 5 control. Maybe in general, you weren't expecting to win, but this is maybe your best draw. Look, Hacienda, it's a staple at this point, either a map 1 or 4 in a best of 5 series. So you better have it, and it better look pretty strong here. This is a big moment for Sushi to step up, come out of the gates absolutely swinging. Don't let Animus get too comfortable and set up. This is a good map 1 for them to set things up. In the Tunisia Search and Destroy, we got to see at least some openings and some weaknesses out of Animus. So I don't know, RHH might have a shot. Well,
he's not looking so confident, Bobby. He's questioning things already, but I get it. And you know what? We're going to find out the answers to all those questions literally right now, because match number 1 is ready to go. So let's see what these teams are bringing to the table.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lauren. Yeah, this should be a fun one, though, Bobby. I mean, nonetheless, I think anticipation aside, RHH have probably been chopping at the bits, waiting for this exact matchup. They know they were going to be going up against Animus for quite some time. But just to kind of break it down one more time, just again, Marvel's back. Like, is this like the championship team? We keep talking about EU keeps coming up short. They cannot make it out of group. Swiss has been a problem for them. Is Marvel and the experience from that Team Vitality squad, is that going to like level up this team's performance throughout the year?
I would hope so. I think that he's a player that has always taken the competition more seriously than just about anybody else in the region.
Sure.
So I would hope that maybe some of those strategies that you get from playing Eastern teams a little more often could potentially leak through to their gameplay and give them a bit of an edge, like you said. But we are ready to go here in the Hacienda Hardpoint. He's got some all-star teammates along with him. Obviously, Shark, been one of the more talked about players in Europe for the last couple of seasons. Gathilla, very solid anchor, and Says has definitely been one of the up-and-comers who's proven himself over the last couple of seasons. Looks like they're not going to find that early entry into the hardpoint. Trying to lock down the high ground right here is, looks like RHH off to a strong start.
Yeah, they're off to a fantastic start. I mean, they're able to find the initial trades. Animus kind of woken up early from that earlier setback, but there's still 30 seconds left inside of P1 to fight over, and well, what was a great 12-second opener, at least for RHH, and immediately gets snuffed all the way through. And just look at all the space that now Animus have to play with. They can soak up as much time as they possibly want. They can start thinking about the spawns and the rotation over towards New. Not a bad response for how RHH started.
Yeah, absolutely. And Animus off to maybe a slower start than expected. I'm not sure who Kairu is. Maybe you could enlighten me on that one, but he's just now picking up his first kills. Well timed, as it is going to be off the rotation toward P2 right here, looking to lock down Rock side. Gathilla going to be able to find one. Sushi getting hunted, and only one more player on that open side left to contest. Gathilla able to pick up the kill. That's going to secure those spawns and make it that much easier for the players on the inside of the hard point to lock things down.
Yeah, Kairu is their listed substitute, and you'd have to give me a little bit more time to pull up all of their history information, as we got a War Machine popped out early from Marvel. Immediately just blows everybody in from RHH, thinking that they have a nice driveway push out of the water. And yeah, it is a really good. You remember that 12-second response and how we started talking about how RHH had a great start versus Animus? That isn't happening anymore. Predator missile towards the tail end of this P2. And Animus should be sitting rather pretty off of this spawn trap, not only with about an 70-point lead, but maybe even the rotation over towards New as they're setting players on said rotation. So it's starting to look like that Rasmo is the player that is sitting out right now, and the reason why Kairu is currently playing Bob.
All right, well, Marvel just earned himself an EMP system right there. I'm not sure he's actually died off the start of that one, as it looks like the operator turning out for big value for him. Say's gonna pop his Sparrow, not able to find the opener, but Shark is there. Traded out, and another operator wiped off the table as Gathilla gets taken down. We're seeing the first opportunity for RHH to find some meaningful hardpoint time, but Gathilla, bred from above, rains down fire, and just like that, Animus have found their way back into the hardpoint, and I think Marvel working on a secondary set of streaks right there. He is going to get shut down, but that does regardless leave RHH spawning out on the well side. Animus holding from those longer side spawns, but definitely want to reinforce and keep eyes on that rotation over to P3. Looks like one player from RHH already with eyes across mid, but all that's really doing is making it tougher for you to pick up the scraps right here. Fortunately for them, they're able to take out Marvel on the top side. It looks like that scrap time has been earned.
I mean, you get a handful of operators and streaks, and you trade that for a War Machine out of HBC. Pump Fake's not going to have theirs on the opposite side, just immediately shut down. Hey, Kairu's already watching the angle. You can just tell from the arrows on the minimap right now, Bobby, that the communication from Animus is at an all-time high. I mean, from all those trades just from resources over by P3, you were able to get about 20 seconds. Animus was already leading by about 80, and now they have extra operators to try to hold the rock hill from the front. Last player alive, driveway spawn's going to be flipping all the way out. Animus now know which way to look, and Kairu's got a gravity vortex gun.
Yep, that's going to zone off that outer area for a hot minute. Nice and easy on the inside of the hard point. It looks like they're going to fail to push out those inner spawns. So RHH once again finding a break on into the hard point, but does not last very long. Already Shark there to reinforce, at least keep things contested. Not able to win the gunfight on HBC. So they've been able to find some clearance, but it's rarely lasted more than 5-10 seconds at a time. And being down 100 points this early in the game, getting ready to head back to P1, not a great sign. Say's able to hop up right there. He's able to pick up one. Marvel finds the second right there as it's now going full on blue in the feed. Animus starting to lock things in here.
I mean, HBC has been the standout player for RHH, and that's not saying much. He's got 13 kills, and that's how much Kairu, the substitute for Animus, currently has on the opposite side. The lowest number, keep in mind you, RHH do need to step it up. They need a catalyst to come back around, and HBC might just be that guy, right? You got 3 operators. P1, the second go of things could be good 30 seconds if you want to invest this. But you would imagine you need to hold on to it for the rotation over towards P2. You're going to have to do it the hard way. Good looking kill feed for RHH as they're starting to wipe the house as far as P1 is concerned. But Animus and get the respawns on the backside of the driveway, encroaching back through well. You're constantly keeping things contested. Just a bunch of Wasps just constantly stinging you from different sides. RHH can never get comfortable. And in that case, they can just never really make a dent into this 110-point lead that Animus have.
Well, Starraker pulls his Annihilator to try to find some rotation kills on the way to P2. He's able to find 3 before getting shut down right there. Says has eyes on player on the inside of ballroom, and he's going to be able to find a couple, making things easier for Kairu. He's able to find the first gunny, make it 2 right there, and I believe he's got a grab vortex ready to go. A lot of zoning operators ready. War Machine's going to come out for Marvel. He's going to continue to lock down White Room right there, and it looks like one player able to make their way on through, but the grab vortex has done the necessary damage, and a whole lot more players coming up driveway side. They got a trophy to keep them safe for the time being, but streaks have been earned. HBC, Aomine got to go big here with those operators, and they have not been able to find much value so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're having to pull out operators just to try to be in any response, but it already feels it's already in desperation, doesn't it? Death Machine coming through from the hill up on the head glitch, just gonna start hitting, just rolling all the way through driveway. Might as well. 3 seconds remain. Rotation over towards new. Doesn't even matter. It's 220 to 60. Sorry, 219. Excuse me. You got 2 operators, one from Pump Fake and Sushi. Says does have their Sparrow, pops it out. Kairu's already pushing through top plat. Nobody's watching that push for some reason. And now spawns a flip. Animus can look to end here.
All right, Says, Pred gonna drop right there. Marvel and Shark pick up a couple. Animus just continue to build on this lead. RHH have not really shown any signs of being able to turn this one around. And not any one major pop-off player for Animus, just good, consistent Call of Duty Mobile.
Sure.
Across the board, Shark with 29, but nobody lower than 23. They have completely run this map from start to finish. 236 and climbing. Sushi doing his best to find contest right there. But that's going to be Marvel, content to sit in the top side, soaking up the remainder of that time. And Shark hopping on the point, trying to make sure this finishes before a rotation back to P4. Purifier says not today, but they reinforce regardless. And with Marvel popping that War Machine, that will likely mark the end of this one. But RHH actually find the break on in, which means we're heading back on over to P4.
You just need 2 seconds. As Foot Race, Shark is here first. And he's got an equalizer. So you're not going to want to contest that. Sushi does have the Gravity Vortex gun. Here comes the contest, but Marvel with the paper plane finds Sue. That should be all she wrote. 250 to 69. Nice, Bobby. What a great opening map one for Animus. And that's almost what you expect on paper. It just got displayed on screen. Just sheer dominance. I mean, just to put it into retrospect, Marvel started P2 in those final few moments with the War Machine. He ended P3 with the War Machine. The impact that he just had in those final few moments alone is a statement of how good Animus is on Hacienda Hardpoint. RHH never really had a response. And again, like you were saying, it's not like that any one player is just, you know, that super Saiyan player that they just can't shut down. It was just really good teamwork, really good cohesion, the manipulation of the map, the spawns, more buzz Call of Duty mobile phrases. It was all good for Animus.
Yeah, no real weak point in. We knew that coming into this competition, like especially in this group, that nobody's going to have an easy time with Animus, let alone really going to push them to their limit. So it certainly was not the case in that one. Marvel 33 and 13 with 2 minutes and 29 seconds in the hard point. For an old man, he sure was gunning like a young gun, and he.
All right.
Hey, those reps over in the East are certainly paying off for his squad right now.
No doubt at all. That is Impact 101. That ground does not cement how impactful Marvel really was in that map, number one. Okay, so Animus take a 1-0 lead. And again, the way that I kind of drew up this entire series, because the takeoff control does exist, and whether RHH were just kind of taking a backseat or not, I think that map one kind of cements, like, you got to win the search and destroy if you're RHH, right? I mean, like, it's the one opening maybe Animus did show this season so far, if that. Look, you go back in time, they 3-0'd Queens. The only time that they lost any momentum or control were 3 rounds of Tunisia and then a round 5 on raid control. The raid control isn't even a benefactor of this. So for Tunisia search and destroy, again, another map mode combination we've had for so long here, Bobby. Does RHH got a chance? What they got to do, man? Give it to me straight.
I don't know. I think they've got to do something to catch him off guard. But once again, Marvel's got so many reps here. And you usually think of him as being the X factor when it comes to the search and destroy. So you got him dominating at that level in the hard point. You head in the search, and it's just kind of tough to point to any one thing they could possibly do. Obviously, a flow state sniper can always change the game. So looks like they're going to take away opportunities from Kairu to find in kills right here. We do see that HS04 coming out. Saw it previously in CDM this week and has definitely made a dent in the competitive meta. So does look like it's going to afford them 1 kill, but nothing more. But HBC finds Gathilla on a very aggressive flank right there. Says, I think, has info on Aomine. Just waiting for that peek out, and that is not going to be punished as he's actually able to get the kill and dip. Now Marvel, pressure on. He's going to get beamed out of the sky. That's an SMG, by the way. And now Kairu left all alone on the site and on the map.
That time. That's a smart call, right? I mean, you try to play for the exit. Oh, his timing could be insane. He's just kind of slipping it ever so slightly, right? HBC is going to play the bomb. Aomine thinks he's still coming from mid. Kairu? Oh, this timing. He sees both. Oh, he had to hit that shot. Hits the second. Sees the next. Doesn't take the shot. The machine pistol. Playing for the regen. Slides forward, but Aomine just too smart. Had the HP advantage. That got weird for a second, Bobby, but hey, numbers advantage. You rush down that lane. It works out pretty well for RHH.
Yeah, no question about it. And that's exactly the way they needed to start things there. Maybe a couple of gunfights that could have gone differently for Animus, but you don't stress too much about one round and you kind of stick to your game plan. It looks like once again, relatively split defense. 2 players over on A. Util goes out right here, and Starraker's going to be able to find 1. 2-for-1 trade off the start right here with Animus taking the advantage. I believe the wall bang hitting right there for Kairu. Another big frag to give them that much more of an edge in this round. The bomb's still yet to be picked up, which is maybe the bigger issue at hand.
Again, substitute player, by the way. 6 kills. We're not even done with round 2 yet, but potential for more. Godzilla gets information on at least one. You'd like to assume that the other one's nearby here. Marvel looking for the cross. Misses a little bit wide. That's info now on both. They got just trap, but Marvel goes for the chow. There's a nice little shot there in the picture-in-picture, but doesn't change the side. That pump fakes in a 1v odd situation. Just wait for the trade. He's going to get it. Marvel there for the cause. And we're all knotted up. And again, substitute player Kairu as the listed player here for Animus. You go back to Season 5, Snapdragon Pro Series, Bobby, 2024, right? Actually played with Wanted. He has a listed win versus the organization that he's a substitute player for. You got to think.
All right. I mean, that's a pretty good thing to have on your resume. I mean, Shark is just running through the map right now. He's got 4 kills already. He's just searching, praying to find that last player. Hey, Mean gonna ruin the ace for him. Trying to make a 1v5 out of it, but he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Say he's gonna put him out of his misery. As Animus take back-to-back rounds following that first, going the way of RHH. Sushi's still looking for a kill. Definitely a player that needs to step up if their squad is going to have a chance up against Animus. See if he can get going right here. Is once again fairly aggressive push. This time it looks like going to send it all the way up the middle. Aomi not able to connect. Looks like they do have some clearance though. 2 players left to be dealt with. Shark looking for info and he's going to get it. He'll be able to dip. They send out Util and that should slow down the push for the time being.
That should. I mean, if you're Shark, you're trying to play catch up. Now you just trail Kairu by 1 from those early round antics. Nades are gonna hit, actually. They're still gonna try to bang this out, but Shark does well for 1, stays there on the cross, and you could do well just to play the trades here if you are Animus. You'll win the round by proxy. So RHH looking to flip the switch. Opportunity through mid. Kairu, he's got this red, and he's got the angle being watched as well. Yeah, takes down Sushi. Now you know they're trapped in mid.
Yeah, they could not be in a worse position. Players closing in. Oh my gosh. Like shooting fish in a barrel right there. Pump fake going to be able to find one, but won't find a second. Animus now 3 rounds in a row going their way and handling business as expected so far. And doing it without Marvel really needing to have a dominant performance. Not that he's playing poorly. It's probably largely that he's just not had that many engagements with the way that Animus have been cleaning up these gunfights. This time, RHH getting aggressive over toward the A side. A lot of util going out right there. 1 player with eyes toward B. It's actually the bomb carrier, super isolated, but Marvel's able to connect for the first blood. And once again, RHH find themselves at a deficit to start.
He down there somewhere. No, he not. All right, so your backs were already against the wall. You're down by 1 map. Now you're down 1 man, and you trail by 2 rounds. Make that 2 players. So surely at this point, yeah, you're just going to get rushed down through mid. I mean, Animus can smell blood in the water. 2v5. You don't got numbers. Shark's got all control through mid, plus the USS-9. Marvel's going to take the chow for the last kill. If not Marvel, well, there were 2 more players nearby. So 4-1 goes the lead. And, I mean, you almost got to go back to maybe that B rush. They haven't really gotten way too aggressive ever since that one point in time. Every single time Animus get that first blood, RHH become deer in headlights, or chickens as it may be. Here comes the nades over the top, trying to find that early damage and maybe trying to rush onto the side here, Bobby.
Yeah, but you got a PKM ready to greet you through the wall. Damage is done. Trades are there, and they go the way of Animus, but out onto the site goes RHH. Pump fake finds 2. That actually leads us into a 1v1 right here. HBC, rather a 1v2, HBC versus Kairu and Gothilla. Couple of snipers in hand, and that top winery angle, not an easy one to win up against a sniper. He's going to peek it anyway, and somehow gets away with his life. Gives the information on over to Animus, however, and once again, with the bomb yet to be retrieved, can be that much more difficult to make something out of this. Looks like we may see a wrap through mid, trying to catch him off guard.
Got a minute. Plenty of time. Knows that one is in mid. Kairu, Spidey senses. Timing for HBC's looking good. He's got the better weapon, but Kairu's got the gunny and the trigger. Woo, that would have been close. I don't know why he didn't try to slide around that. He knew that one player was going to be over towards mid. But, like, if you tell me that a USS-9 is going to peek top line through mid, knowing that a sniper's going to be watching that, not on your nan. I would never do that. That was scary as hell. 5-1, by the way. Here comes the side swap, and Animus looking to dominantly take this B side.
Proper, you underestimate the USS-9. It is the best SMG,
I don't care. That's
and
crazy.
sniper in the game.
It's a submachine gun. Regardless, that is an egregious peak. Yeah.
That's what you think. They're getting bombed out, but there's somebody directly above. Starraker's going to be able to blow that one up. He's able to find 2 kills. 2 players remain right here. As Shark's going to be able to find 1, and Sushi really needs to go big right here. Does not slide that corner and put Starraker in a tough spot. Marvel can sit back and regen right here, or maybe throw a shoulder just because he can. The longer he keeps taking those shots, the more info you get, and Marvel puts him out of his misery, as it looks like Animus are on their way to doing here in the search and destroy. Now up 6-1, 1 round away from sending things to a map 3.
But like, it's crazy, right? Because like, if you got a USS-9, and even if it is godlike, you just see what that sniper did. It's a 1-shot, 1 kill.
That's true. I mean, that's fair.
It's an egregious peak. Welcome to my TED Talk. Thank you. Animus looking to go up 2-0, by the way. They're just going to rush over towards A and straight through mid, by the way. With machine pistols, USS-9. I think Shark's a little upset that Saves was there for the kill first, but now the pinch is on. All right, Chase rotation just a little bit late, and well, what was starting to look like a flawless round might just be a handful of trades. Bomb getting planted. Stars at least right there to find 1 on the exit, but it's a turtle up. Bomb planted here at A. Can RHH break?
1 player tucked right around this corner going top winery. I don't think anybody has eyes on it right now, so there's a possibility that Pump Fake could blow this up. He's going to be able to land shots, able to drop down, not able to win the second gunfight. Starraker needs to go big. It'd be a 1v2 if he's able to make something out of it. Kairu tucked away in that corner, but he should have some information off it. It's just a question of if he really predicts he's going to be staying there, and I personally would not have guessed it. Love this play from Kairu. Doesn't take the conventional route, takes shots right there, not going to peek anything else, and now all he's got to do is peek the bomb. No time to defuse. Animus handle business here in the search and destroy, and they take things 7-1.
Yep, I mean, 5-1, you lost the initial round. You forced Animus to sit up just a wee bit there, and well, they won the next 7 just straight, just flat out. Just raw aggression up through mid, defensive rounds galore. Shark was just having his way, and I mean, when you try to go for these very slow, hesitant peaks, right? I mean, you can see what makes some of the best snipers in European Call of Duty Mobile, right? I mean, Marvel's back. I'm not slow peeking nothing if he's alive on the map. We're double challenge, slide challenge, save a stun for whatever it may be, because the chances are 1 of 3 players could be sniping any one of these crosses on Tunisia. We never saw that adjustment out from RHH ever since the aggressive round number 1. That was it. And it just felt like they got absolutely sucker punched in the round number 2. 10-2 is wild. Is he actually listed as a sub? Because, like, somebody could surely benefit from this type of impact if he is the substitute. Kairu's having a great series so far. Working well with Shark and Marvel, Saves Guthilla. I mean, pick a player here, Bobby. Everybody's playing fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the more experienced players on that RHH roster, and they are the ones that are close to the bottom of the leaderboard. HBC, we've seen him around a few seasons, 2-8. Sushi, a fan favorite and a personal favorite, but 1-8, just not going to make the cut going up against his experienced squad like Animus. So he's really got to lock in here heading into the control. It is going to be on Takeoff, which once again doesn't really bode all that well for them. It is one of the newer maps, but Animus not going to be fun to deal with on this one.
Oh, just because of how slay dependent it is. I mean, control as a game mode is so break off dependent, and is very reliant on being able to find these explosive moments. And these HBC did have a lot of those moments in the Hacienda map 1, but I'm not hopeful. I'm not a betting man either here, Bobby. Like, going to the Takeoff Control, I said it for a reason. They beat Cantic Nation to qualify 3-1. It was a competitive 4-map series. That's not a good enough resume builder when you lost the Takeoff Control 1-3 versus a team that's not even here and you're going up against the #1 team. I don't have to become Bob Ross to paint the picture. It's not looking good, but you got to have it if you are RHH. Losers bracket's calling.
All right. Say's getting aggressive up the middle right here. No info to be found, but Gothilla and Marvel will find a couple of picks. Shark doesn't come out on top in that one, so it finds them a little bit of clearance out toward the blue side. Kairu up above, gonna get shut down, but Marvel's there to find clearance on the opposite side of the map. So Animus handled the opening push and pretty much push RHH into a full reset right here. Gothilla's going to be able to pick up yet another. Aomin on the top side gets shut down, and Kairu's still working on the streak that he's got from the opening break off of the game. Animus already looking to apply pressure toward that spawn. Further they get forward, the uglier things are going to get for RHH. They've got to find a way to win some of these gunfights on the inside of Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, you'd really hope you could just isolate Gothilla by himself. Thank you. Finally, Amin's going to be there to find the trade inside a stadium. That was one of the more influential positions. Now you can maybe shift your focus towards control, because that's where Marvel is currently. Just making you chase Ghost, and by the time you're even worried about the pinch over by control, right back off the respawn block, Gothilla finds kill number 6, just starts an ever so lasting floodgate of just blue in the kill feed. 2 trades maybe, but we're down to 7 seconds here, Bobby. It's 18v7. You can tell by the canter of my voice, this round is donezo, a bonanza.
Yeah, 2 seconds left. It was going to be either the lives or the time that ended it. They did not get anywhere close to getting a take of progress, which once again, this is not an easy offense-sided map. This is one that is going to be really, really tough. I mean, it's going to be tough on both objectives, but you got to find some semblance of map control, and there was just absolutely none to be found for RHH. So Gothilla going to look to break off to the left side. Shark gets aggressive up the top side and going to be able to find one. That should be a little bit of breathing room to at least find some way onto the objective. Smoke's going to go out, and they're going to start picking up time over here on A. Shark continues to make his way forward and could potentially apply pressure toward those spawns. Gets shut down on the way. RHH find themselves up alive right here. Animus, not the end of the world, especially do it on offense, keeping things even across the board.
It just takes one moment though, right? And it's that push immediately past the scaffolding out of Kairu. Sets up the pinch. Pump fake does find 2. Last couple strays happening over at A. HBC wins the gunfight. You got numbers now if you're RHH. Still back over on the side. And yeah, what a great opening break off. Now they got still that 1 life lead, but you can continue to play the trades. You do get that benefit on defense. Like Bobby said, this is a very difficult map to try to convert an offense on, but it does take one good moment. And Kyra's looking for that moment. Gonna get a 1v1 versus Sushi, will lose it. Death Machine's gonna get called by Gothilla on the opposite side, and they're gonna use this as an opportunity to lock in that second segment. Probably a little bit more here at A.
Gothilla pops the Death Machine, trying to see how many he can farm off of those spawns. That's already been 3. It's one of the longer lasting operators in the game as well. They're spawning directly in front of him right there, continues to do damage. And as they try to reinforce and make their way back to spawn, that gives time for the rest of the Animus players to make their way forward and apply more pressure. Shark popping the equalizers. He's on a 3 spree, working on some streaks. Only 1 off the Pred missile, and they've now doubled up in lives. They get that A zone captured, and he continues to make his way up towards spawn and streaks 4 days. RHH now down 8 players. Gothilla from the top side, able to find 2, and it's no respawns remaining as it's all down to Aomin in a 1v12. Doesn't really seem to be in the cards. Gothilla gonna look to put him out of his misery. They're actually gonna opt to go ahead and just lock in those objective captures, because if worse comes to worse and you do end up in a round number 5, you want to make sure that you're on the defensive side. Having those objective captures will ensure it.
Yep, I mean, that's super typical out of Animus, just to be able to really showcase that. They're still showcasing their very core fundamentals. I mean, I got to really just go back and really dissect that play out of Pump Fake. He had an opportunity to maybe try to pinch that and stop that play. I don't think they knew he could have had that pinch over by A, Bobby, but he pulled out the Purifier. He died, and there was no coming back from that life deficit. Animus aware of it. They got the operator advantage, but they ripped 2 for Sushi's Gravity Vortex gun, and it's the one that comes out on top until Marvel finds an answer back there with their War Machine. And we're just back to square one. I mean, RHH do have forward positioning until Animus come off the respawn block right back into control. They work that pinch wonderfully, much like in round number 1. Predator missile finds 3. Oof, that is just what a response at RHH, who I honestly thought by shutting down those 2 operators when they did, they were about to maneuver their way over towards that A zone, but silly me.
The president is hovering above spawn, waiting for people to spawn in to put them out of their misery. And it seems like every time we get a different Animus POV, they're either activating one or on their way. Kairu's going to call in another. It's 20v6, HBC, War Machine doing everything he can to escape the spawn. But it seems like this will be their grave as only 4 lives remain for RHH. 18 for Animus. They have absolutely handled business in this one. Death Machine not going to connect for Gothilla, but absolutely simply a matter of time as it's Shark closing things out and Animus take a 3-0 on the map and in the series.
Just a little bit outside the bloom there for the Death Machine, but still a parade there in the final moments nonetheless. Yeah, quite a dominant 3-0. I don't think anybody was going to be expecting otherwise. I mean, RHH, we saw at least some bright moments come through, but just by winning the initial gunfights is the first step in a very multi-step process, and it's the subsequent steps that they were missing along the way, Bobby. I think that nobody is going to look past that and really kind of beckon anything besides the fact that they stepped up and did try their best. It just so happens to be the level that this Animus roster is at. This RHH team is not bad. Animus are just simply that much better. They are aggressive. Their team shots are so good. And also just their utility usage as well. Like they never get ahead of themselves. I'm sure they're having a blast along the way because the scoreline certainly suggests so. But that's why I put it like a real core moment on just talking about their fundamentals. You can go back to the hard point, like the communication was clearly on point. You maybe had 1 or 2 overextensions if you really want to nitpick, but this team looks very, very well polished, man. 19 and 12 out of Godzilla. Kairu, 19 and 11, had a fantastic Tunisia search and destroy. It's just an overall fantastic series, I cannot lie. Animus primed to be making it very, very far. Nobody was surprised in the season.
Yeah, Marvel only had 17 engagements in that entire map. I think he was just sitting there enjoying some popcorn, and he certainly enjoyed the show.
I mean, it's Animus, right? We expect big things out of them when it comes to this region, and we knew that they were going to come in today and just want to make it easier on themselves. They now move forward in our upper bracket, which means they're 1 step closer to getting that 3rd spot in the challenge finals, and that's all they're really focused on. Whoever ends up in their way along the way just ends up being a little bit unlucky. But for everybody at home, RHH are not out of the competition yet. Don't forget, this is still double eliminations. They have one more opportunity. They'll drop down into that lower bracket and they will come back next week to play one more time to try to stay alive for that final spot in our challenge finals. You'll see that reflected here in the bracket. Animus up there at the top, RHH dropping down, and they've got a week now to reset as we will be turning our focus towards PBM and Vanquish next for our 2nd match on the day. We'll have to see if this one's hopefully a little bit closer. I think it will be, absolutely, with these 2 squads, but at the end of the day, Animus move on in a very quick 3-0 fashion, and I don't really think anybody's surprised here, Bobby.
No, absolutely not. We knew coming into this the Animus were the favorites, and expecting that it would be by a significant margin as well. They delivered on all expectations. Marvel showing that the reps that he got over in the East really paid off, and hopefully maybe some inspiration for some of these EU teams to try to get more reps against the teams of the East, to try to lock in a little bit more ability to adapt to different play styles. They really showed out right there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mentioned it. We still have 2 more matches left on the day. Match number 2 right around the corner. We're going to give our teams a little bit of time to get themselves set up and ready to go while we send it to a short break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What's up, COD fans? I hold shift with the man of, well, the face of Animus. At this point in time, I've got Quintilla with me. My guy, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm really fine, and you?
I'm doing great, my man. Thanks for asking. I love that you always dress up for these things. You always look good. We love that about you.
I try my best.
You always do well. Let's talk about your career here, because you have a really interesting story. I mean, you kind of jump onto the scene. The Animus banner is pretty much carried with you the whole way. We had a lot of interviews with you back during that 2022 year where you guys were finding so much success. But then in 2023, things didn't go so well. Have to kind of reform, regroup. You're back for 2024. Just kind of take me through the last 3 years.
Yeah, like you said, 2022 was the best year, I think, for Animus. We got contract with Stamina. It was a crazy year. It was my first LAN in United States. So yeah, it's some great memories. And after, for 2023, it was so hard because we were so close of the qualification for stage 5. So, and I think for me, we were the best in 2023 too, but it's like this. Sometimes you can't be the best. It's one match, one best of 5, and if you lose, you lose. So, but we have good mentality. That's our. I think that's the best in this team. It's the mentality. Like, we lose, but we can come back. We try the best. We try to fix, to get a better strategy, and that's why in 2024 we did the comeback. It was our year. We say, okay, guys, we're gonna try another year, and we're gonna do it. So we did it with full French players: Shark, Says, Rasmo, Nars, and it was crazy.
I think, as commentators and as the community, we kind of look at you as being one of the leaders, if not like the captain for this Animus squad. Is that something you just kind of naturally just have that charisma and that energy for? Or like, how do you kind of step into that role as being one of the leaders for this team?
First, it was in 2022. It was Nars, the captain, and thanks to Nars, I don't know, I learned a lot from this guy. So, but yeah, since the beginning, I play on Codem, and I think in my life, I like to be a leader. I like to manage, to try. My objective in the team, it's not to get the more kill, it's not to be the best in the gunfight. My role is to work with the team and to try that each players can give the best from them. That's the objective for me.
One final, just kind of small, maybe more personal question. With the map pool changing, getting your hands on some new map mode combinations, do you have any favorites in the map pool right now?
I like Slums. I think Slums, it's a great map in S&D, in Hardpoint. It's really interesting. I'm not gonna say Crossfire because Crossfire, I think, I don't know if some player tell you it's a good map, but not for me. Yeah, I think Slums, it's a great map, yeah.
We do love Slums. Instant classic. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Guadil, thank you so much for taking the time. Of course, best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Cutie, dressed up and I'm glistening. I'm the gift, don't wrap me like it's Christmas. Want some yours, you'll know what you've been missing. Feeling like we should get into mischief. Listen, you been looking like you're down on your luck. Need a girl like me to come through, lift you up. Hold me in your hand, I like when you touch me. Keep me around or you might get lucky. I'ma keep you with the good mood. Keep you up all night. Never around you. Baby, this is so vibe. Got me dancing like a soul train. Laughing the whole time. Got me singing in the shower. Baby, are you all mine? Baby, I'm your 4-leaf clover. Your rabbit's foot, your charm bracelet, horseshoe. Baby, I'm your good omen. You wanna keep me with you. Keep me with you. Yeah, it's not hard to see. There's a pattern forming when you got me. 777 all wins, big money. The tramp over here never see me coming. I was in your back pocket the whole time. A quiet power, a silent gold mine, a big old confidence boost. You never delude. Just know that you'll be winning cause I'm with you in the building. I'ma keep you with the good mood. Keep you up all night. Never around you. Baby, this is so vibe. Got me dancing like a soul train. Laughing the whole time. Got me singing in the shower. Baby, are you all mine? Baby, I'm your 4-leaf clover. Your rabbit's foot, your charm bracelet, horseshoe. Baby, I'm your good omen. You wanna keep Let's go. Put it in motion. Baby, we're going faster, 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 faster. Seizing the moment. Baby, keep going faster, faster.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where we are about to head into match number 2. And the second match today means a new caster as well. We've dragged Ton in this time to get us through the action. Ton, thoughts on match number 1? Animus, absolutely dominant.
Yeah, kind of as expected in that one, really. You know, Animus coming into this season, a lot of people have them as the favorites, and rightfully so. So it was unlikely they were ever going to be toppled there. So yeah, as expected, do get themselves through, and well, it's going to be exciting to see how they do. But this one coming up, though, is probably a little bit closer than that one was going to be.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we talked about that before the break, but let's start breaking down this matchup. Okay, we've got PBM and Vanquish up next for match number 2. Both of these teams fighting to move on in the upper bracket, and whoever wins will be facing off against Animus. So the road's not going to get any easier, but we'll take a look back at some of these highlights for these two teams and how they were able to get here proper.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those things that for this group in particular, you're looking at who's going to be that second team. I know I said that earlier when we were breaking down the Animus matchup, but like, it's obviously going, in my opinion, I think it's going to be one of two teams in between Vanquish, which we are about to watch, and RHH. But Vanquish are one of those teams to definitely watch out for. They beat Queens to qualify. Not only to qualify, they beat them 3-0. That same Queens team that beat Exclusive. So I think we should really be putting this team on a pedestal right now to do quite well, not only in this group, but potentially in the seasons after.
You know, and that's a good point too, because there are, I mean, it's SPS, right? While we say we know what could potentially happen, we see upsets. Even if anybody was watching North America yesterday, then we saw that on Mythic takes out NA Falloffs. And like, that was a big surprise because NA Falloffs are the equivalent of like an exclusive. So watching the potential for a squad like Vanquish to be able to maybe step up to the plate here is not too far out of the realm of possibilities, Ton.
No, it's not. And I think yesterday's surprise as well will give some confidence over towards teams like Vanquish to see if they can go and crack on and actually do something like that again, which we may well get to see later on this evening, of course. But I don't think anybody's seen the 3-0 in the fashion that it happened, though, going down last night. If you didn't see it, go back and check it out in the VOD. Crazy, crazy game. But yeah, it's definitely going to give some teams some confidence.
Yeah, there's been some really good Call of Duty Mobile action here all weekend long as we get a chance to see PBM's roster here proper. Still, though, similarly to what we just saw in the first match of the day with RHH, this is a squad that needs to bring whatever they can and really kind of show up and at least test the waters here against Vanquish.
Yep. Totally. I mean, they beat Ascension 3-1 to qualify, and when we were going through all of the open finals, we were talking how there was like one heavy side of the bracket and one easier side of the bracket, and I'm going to call a spade here. PBM were on the easier side of the bracket. Go figure, they were able to beat Ascension, losing at least one map along the way, but still find themselves in the same exact situation. So yeah, you absolutely have to show your grit and other fun little adjectives along the way of why you should stand up against some of the top players here in Europe.
And then on the flip side, we get to see that roster here for Vanquish. But at the end of the day here, Ton, I think that they know that the ball is kind of in their court for this.
Oh, 100%. I think they'll be coming into this very, very confident themselves, knowing that PBM did get through that easy route that we did just talk about there. And they've been really impressive as well. Every single time we've watched Vanquish, I think especially that Queens result really did light everybody's eyes up. Them now in this group, everyone's like, okay, well, Vanquish are in there. Let's see kind of where they're going to lie. Realistically speaking, though, they are going to be heading into it very, very confident, as mentioned, and they will be difficult to beat.
Yeah, I'm excited, though, to see what both of these teams have managed to do. We mentioned it heading into the first match as well. They've got a little bit of time. They've had time to prepare for today, as we get a chance to take a look at the picks and bans here as well. All right, we're starting off with the Slums Hardpoint here proper.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting off with at least like a bang out of like first 3 maps, depending on how you like your Tunisia, depending on how it plays comparatively to how we got in the first series, right? I mean, it's a square up of a map 1 nonetheless. Like, we're going to see some pretty big numbers being dropped, and maybe in all the best ways or some of the worst ways, but good fundamentals could be exemplified here, and maybe we could see a team get upset. I'm not too sure. All I'm going to tell you is that Vanquish are probably going to come out of the gates absolutely trying to run it down mid, and I think that PBM need to be prepared for that, and I think that Slums could be a good chance for that. But I think that when you're looking at this entirety of a best of 5 series, everything does point in the way of Vanquish, but I'd love to be proven wrong.
I think everybody loves an underdog story as well, but we'll have to see who is going to be stepping up to plate, because I'm being told match number 2 is ready to get underway. So let's dive into it.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Excited to get into this one proper after last night's games as well. You know, we had 3-0 across the board in America, of course, over the 2 games. And today, well, starting that similar fashion, I mean, we do seem to be top heavy in some of these regions. And for Vanquish, the question is going to be for them, are they in that bracket? Are they part of those big boys towards the top? And that is, well, a question maybe for a later series, because this one is one they should be winning, and we will expect them to go into with some confidence. But PBM, they're not going to be one of these teams that's just going to easily roll over.
No, absolutely not. We got to see some of those heroic plays and some of those brighter moments in the Open Finals versus the Ascension team in that 3-1 win. I'd love to be able to see that level of consistency starting off here. And although they don't have the favorite side of the map, they're doing a great job. Did PBM, at least the early break-off, kind of forced Vanquish to really kind of reassess themselves ever so slightly. They worked their way back in towards the time, and they're on the better side of the map to boot.
Yeah, Ryu doing his best job they could possibly do from that side of things. Vanquish will eventually get some sort of control. And I think you're right, though. You're heading into a slums. It's not one of those maps where you necessarily can, you know, things are a little bit crazy. You can cause some chaos. It is fundamental Call of Duty Hardpoint, and you have to be on your level every single way you can. The highest level has to be the option here for PBM if you want to try and find a win here. Right now, Vanquish, though, going to be able to pick up a plethora of time over towards P1. Rotation over towards P2. Looking solid as well. Nice start for Vanquish.
Yeah, I mean, Brian was already trying to clear out of the back pillar spawns ahead of this rotation over towards P2. So PBM finding themselves down 30 seconds, looking for the break immediately through blue. And it's just all head glitches and it's crossfires galore. And you're not going to upset the spawns initially. So PBM, we're trying to do this the hard way and just try to break through the front of the hard point. Now at a moment's too late. They're thinking about the spawns, but it's just so much time just going towards Vanquish or to the game clock in general.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Vanquish if you're just holding this back here. I mean, PBM, you have to clear out both sides, and it becomes very, very difficult. Yeah, Brian just holding that down so easily, time and time again. I'm going to try and hold it down towards this left-hand side, but just more good time. Really good fundamentals coming through from the side of Vanquish. They know exactly what they're doing, and yeah, if I'm PBM, I'm rotating and getting the hell out of there. Your game hasn't started well, but if you can answer back with some good time over towards P3, which you may well be able to do with this setup, then all of a sudden it does help things out. But the problem is that you're going to have is Vanquish already have 3 operators up and running and ready to go.
The operator advantage is already here. It's P3 and, well, PBM.
Grab them.
They knew it. They got a whole P3 going into P4. But just because you got the back spawns doesn't always seem like it's where you want to be. Vanquish get a nice little spawn trap surprise. Claw pop by Gone. Kirby now has a War Machine pop. They're spawning garages, which is where the rotation's supposed to go to next, but they can't even get close towards the hardpoint. Finally, a favorable kill feed here, but it's already 30 seconds. It's 1:15 to 14.
Yeah, not necessarily looking too hot here for the side of PBM. Vanquish running away with this one. Got them spawning exactly where they want them as well. One more player towards that backside is eventually going to get dealt with. Helios can't find one towards the front, but even with an okay push here, there's 20 seconds to go. Rotation's already in the favor of Vanquish. What do you do from this scenario if you're PBM? I mean, at the moment, just getting slayed, but they are going to get the spawns. They are going to be able to get some sort of control, but Vanquish already with 110 plus lead. Not necessarily the best spot to be in for PBM. Here we go for Sanga, trying to hold something down. At this moment in time, Hill's about to pop. Vanquish have absolutely everybody surrounding the point. The Tempest is out from Brian. It's one. Second and third may well not even be needed because your teammates are here, but he finds the second. The break will come on through, and all of a sudden, Vanquish back into this point. 45 seconds remaining here over towards P4, and PBM are yet to really get things going. So difficult, though, when it does come down to slums. If you're losing rotations, you're losing the goddamn game. And that's kind of been the story of this one. Right now, though, actually, something that has not necessarily been alerted to me, but I just did actually see with my very own eyes, Kiliak is yet to find a kill, so that's not necessarily great. Vanquish very much finding kills and finding plenty of points. I promise my caster is going to be back in a second. Power cut, apparently, or maybe he wanted to pick up a controller and help Kiliak out here because it's not looking great. Vanquish, rotation over towards P1 now starting to come through for them. They've got PBM spawning exactly where you want them. You find that crucial gunfight. You now got the spawns for P2s as well. Sensational work. on the side of Vanquish is just, when it comes down to Slums, we've seen it time and time again. It is fundamentals and fundamentals and fundamentals. I think that's why a lot of us have very fond memories of this map. If you were alive back when Black Ops 2 was about, I think I was still 36 at that stage, and I'm 33 now. It's a long time ago. Gone trying to hold this one down now. The lead, insurmountable for PBM to try and bring this one back. Incredible work from the side of Vanquish. PBM yet to really find any answers. But at this stage, I think what Proper would be saying to you guys is that it is about trying to find one good rotation. You find a good hold somewhere that can maybe just give you a little bit of hope. But, well, right now, the kill feed is looking in one direction. But a positive note for PBM, Kiliak has actually managed to get himself a kill. So that's a solid outing from his perspective in comparison to the first rotation of Hills. Rotation looking solid, though, for the side of PBM. That's going to be coming up in 10 seconds. But by that stage, they are going to be down 210 points. So that is where the problem really does lie. Kiliak may well be lucky to get out of this Slums Hardpoint with more than a kill. This has been a monster performance from the side of Vanquish, and I know I was kind of questioning, are PBM going to roll over in the same sense that we kind of have seen from some of the other teams when they come up against one of the big boys? And well, the answer to the question, the hard point is absolutely yes, they are. But right now, trying to hold down some time in P2. This is the first time we've really seen them in control to any degree. Blair will find two there with the nade. Ryu finds two himself, finds a third. So trying to light things up here for the side of PBM. Gone inside the point. He will get taken down. So some time here for the side of PBM. 35 seconds remaining on this hill. Vanquish need to find one good break in this game. Will be done and dusted. Operators probably going to have to be used to try and get themselves in here. Oh, there is gone. We'll find one. Everybody on PBM actually doing a great job here. You're finding the kills. You're finding the holds. And it's multiple kills coming through from Sanga. And of course, from Ryu previously, that's managed to lock this one down. So some really good time from the side of PBM. But it may be too little, too late. Leia now. Just going to rotate over. I think Vanquish will be a little bit upset the fact that they have actually had to hold this one down and actually go over towards another P3. After what happened in the first rotation of Hills, I was not expecting us to see this hill whatsoever. But it's about to pop. Kills need to come through for the side of PBM. 70 points to their name. I'm not even going to say it flatters them. They managed to find a good rotation over towards P2, but you need to now find another 5 or 6 perfect rotations. You're barely going to find a kill. And Vanquish going to close this one out in a dominating fashion, 250 to 69. And that was a crazy showing from Vanquish. They take this one away, and that is going to be a mountain to climb already for the side of PBM. I think when Proper gets back, I'm going to make him cast solo, and we'll see how he can go. Just so I can rest my voice, potentially, but when he does come back, I'd imagine he's going to say similar to me. That was utter domination from the side of Vanquish. I'm curious how many kills Kiliak did end up on, so we'll keep an eye on that towards the end as well. One at this stage. Oh, he found a second towards the end, doubling his amount of kills at the very last point. I don't like to maybe go at any player in particular, but 2 and 32 is a rough showing. Vanquish coming into that one. Utter domination. 1-0 OPN now in this series, and heading into Search and Destroy next. This series may well be over very, very quickly. This series might be over before Proper comes back. And that could be the hilarious thing. Vanquish still in a really good spot. We may even be drafting Glitter in at this stage. Although Bobby might be still around as well. But we'll get things rolling here for game number 2 in just a second. But Vanquish, oh my goodness me. Incredible work from them. And that is just a tough showing from the side of PBM. But let's see if they can turn it around. This is, of course, the first winners bracket game for both these two teams. Lauren, that was not necessarily the best of performances from PBM. Maybe a better performance than Proper's ISP, though.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. You know, I feel like, or maybe, are you the curse? Did Brody leave with you as well, or was that someone else?
I'm gonna say it's probably Brody's fault. I'm not sure the answer. I'm just gonna default to that.
I mean, great job. Got through the entire hard point, and a little bit of what we expected, though. We knew that Vanquish was going to come in and be pretty strong, and they want to do the same thing that we just watched Animus do in the first match. They want to kind of get in and out of these matches as quickly as possible. They have bigger goals that they are trying to attain. Their sights are set on the challenge finals, and this is just the first step on the path to doing that. And they did it so quickly that you got zero help throughout the entire thing. And now we're going to be heading into the S&D next.
Crazy scenes. I honestly, some say we carry this show, and then, well, here we all are. You know, so somebody's going to do the heavy lifting. Some say that. No, nobody really does say that. But we're going to be heading into the search in a second, and I think, is this the time where PBM can maybe try and turn this around? I'm not 100% sure. I think the search and destroy, it's going to be difficult. I think, you know, you can sometimes have you can see flashes. Okay, we've seen that good hold towards P2, but realistically speaking, it's going to be a really harder showing coming into Tunisia as well. You've got to then somehow find some attacks if you want to go on to win this S&D if you're PBM, which is a hard enough thing to do anyway. And then I know that Vanquish are going to be able to find that punching power to get through. So yeah, it's going to be a curious one, but yeah, I'm not too sure if PBM have got this in the locker. But PBM, it's going to be about going into the next game and see how things are going to go down. But I'm starting to hear Andy's name. I'm starting to hear Andy's voice coming back into my ears here, Lauren.
Right? Yeah, he might have just barely squeaked in time before we get into the next map. So perfect timing. He did that. He actually went and got a drink. He got a coffee, a tea. He was ready to go.
That's probably what he was doing.
It's actually exactly what I was doing this entire time. I actually just wanted to leave. You know, like Brody may not be here, but someone in his spirit needs to leave somebody else to solo cast for an entire map. So you know, it's not for me.
Oh no, it happened to Bobby.
Yeah, it was for you guys. It was for you. I was for you guys. You're welcome.
Honestly,
everyone was delighted listening to my dulcet tones for an entire, well, I want to say 10 minutes, but it was more like 3.
Okay, well now, Ton, you get to take a break. Andy, we're going back into map 2, so enjoy.
Cool. Yep. No, I got this one. Tom, why don't you go ahead and take a seat, man? Go ahead and make a cappuccino. I don't know, whatever you Brits do. You go ahead and take a nap. Take a nap, mate.
Good. I mean, you know, if we're all okay with that, I'll just kick back in this search and destroy. But based on what we've seen in map number 1, I'm not too sure how much of it you got to see. But
none. I had no internet. I had no power ton. I don't know what happened in map 1 at all.
So one of the players from PBM only got 2 kills. Is kind of what I want to tell you. Yeah, we've got a saying in the UK. I'm not too sure if it translates over to your side of the Atlantic. It's called when you have 30 winks, and that is more so about, like, you know, those, like, just a small tiny nap. I don't think I would even get one of those in the period of time that the search and destroy may well take if Vanquish play the same as they did in map number 1.
Well, but it's search.
It is search.
No, it got lost in translation immediately. No, your British idioms will never make sense to me.
This is what Google is for.
Yeah, can you Google that for me real quick?
I can.
Okay, thanks, bud. I got you. Very forward approach defensively. I will say that much out of Vanquish. And I guess that is kind of on par for how you just described map 1 to me. Because PBM are very hesitant on just trying to remove themselves from winery. Quick little peek up from the top. Don't see anybody through mid, but a nice little nade from Axe will take down one in towards the back. So you already lost numbers if you are PBM. That allows Axis and Brian to push up through the middle of the map, slowly suppress them in towards the backside of Wine. You down there somewhere? Were you? Hits trophy. Doesn't find anything.
I actually got the saying wrong. It's actually 40 winks, not 30.
Oh. Because that's why I didn't get it.
That probably is why you didn't get it. And it is definitely British. BBM trying to find a way through. They will find a kill. Axis is able to answer it back. Now we 4 versus 3. Axis now starting to put the pain down, really. There's 3 kills in the round for him. All alone, he's lonesome. We're very much looking for the ace if he can find it. Well, he's got a bomb anyway, and now they're just going to run into Gon as well. Astral can find one to answer back. But he 1 versus 3 now. They've got him pinned in. They know exactly where he is, and he's dead to rights. It's 4 kills in the round for Axis. In the first round over towards Vanquish.
Yeah. I mean, you find that first, but I guess most importantly, if you are Vanquish, like those 2 players are at B, like they get information by not getting information, right? Like, they ain't see a soul, so they just slowly start pushing up. Axis Brian finds that first blood. They're just sitting there, just lurking, just seeing if they get a free glass of wine. Nades over the top. No, it's actually Astral. Finds that first blood. And now they're probably going to expect the push to come through over on the B lane. Axis and Brian are thinking about it. Probably a little bit more hesitant this time around, given they don't have the numbers.
So if they can find a way through, they are being hesitant, but I think they're curious about a flank that could be coming through. And, well, it did. And Sanga dealt with it. Can you find another? Yes, you can. Yeah, okay, just line up for me, boys. No problem whatsoever. And I think this is where Vanquish could kind of fall foul to a certain degree. You've got to be careful. You cannot just head first down the middle of the map up against some of these teams. PBM will shut you down. And a huge opportunity for PBM to get themselves on the board here.
Got the numbers to do so. Just got a swarm. You already gave away the information. Slow peek. On the backside underneath the scaffolding. No, not like this. Oh, Gon's got a shotgun. Swaps away just in the nick of time. But that got a little weird for a second. But great isolation of the kills. An opening snipe out of PBM meant that they had numbers. And they were really playing for the overextension to come through. And they were right to do so. It all worked out. PBM tied things up.
Lovely stuff. Vanquish now will probably just sit in and wait for the push that will inevitably have to come from PBM. It's a difficult pushover towards this A side, though. You've got to try and find a pick, and you're just hoping if you're PBM that Vanquish misstep again.
This is just like every single round so far. PBM are just exhausting the clock. And we've always talked about this, you know, when it comes to like other regions playing Search and Destroy, like they do a really good job of just exhausting the clock. They're making Tunisia essentially feel like Kurahana. And just seeing if anybody's going to overextend, which Brian does. And whether it was or not, it's still an isolated kill. And it means that PBM have numbers in again. And so far, they're batting 100. When they get first blood, they win the round.
Let's see if they can convert it again. Conversion rate of those first bloods is just the hallmark of a good Search and Destroy team. So if you can get something going here for your PM, and hey, we can maybe talk about something of a comeback potentially. PBM trying to find a way through. Helios will find the kill on Axis as well. They're working this Search and Destroy really well. They're being super patient. And if anything, I wonder if Vanquish are just not showing them enough respect, because now they're pushing forward. Sanga should have found that kill. Be tempted to push forward, but he sits back in. Nice play from him. Backs them down. Bomb is down. And now Vanquish need to find a 3 versus 4 retake. Meaning now a 2 versus 4 retake.
Astral's just gotta play with the time, get some shots. Gone. He was weak, and well, now he is just simply gone. Kirby, 1v3? He just doesn't have enough time. He's just too many angles.
Sorry.
Maybe.
We'll
That looked pretty good to me.
we'll manage to get a hold of a kill, yeah. Over towards the Search and Destroy. It was Kiliak who did struggle in the hard point. Manages to find a kill, and PBM find themselves in the lead here. It definitely feels like Vanquish are not showing them enough respect over towards this B side, kind of throwing first bloods away, and PBM are making the most of it.
Sure are. Again, gotta stop these overextensions, or just playing a situation where you don't give away first bloods or early damage from nades, which is so much easier said than done on a map like Tunisia. We've been studying these nades since yesterday, honestly. So here comes the nades over top of B. That's going to be the alarm bell for Gone to maybe rotate. No, we thought about it. I mean, PBM have lurking around A more often than not. Yeah, Brian's just lurking in through mid, finds the first plus an extra early numbers.
Frag out.
A minute and 20 to go. Stuck in between a rock and a hard place. If you're Helios, Axis just making sure those last couple of bullets are now Astral. Left in a 1 versus 5 has kind of slipped the net here to a certain degree. Not for very long. Oh, has he? He's sprinting for his life. He's going to spin around now. Can he find anything? Yes, he can find one, but that will be that. And Vanquish will tie things up here. But as far as attacking rounds go, 2 rounds already for the side of PBM. On their side, 2 more rounds to go to try and find something. It's just a bit of a tall order, right, though? I mean, surely.
Well, I mean, Brian's just not going to start rushing anymore. So now it's going to call for PBM to try to take a quick execute, and that's exactly what they're going to do. You got one player playing up close. That's Lair. Goes 1 for 1, but the information's still there. But PBM, they got numbers on this side. You can expect gone on the quick flank? Nobody's watching this. Oh, easy pickings, and now you're trapped inside the A-bomb.
It's just such a horrible place to be. God will push through, though. Can't find it. Helios again has done so well, but Brian now left in a 1 versus 1. Can he manage to find it? No, he can't. Sanga gets the better of him. Another attacking round here for PBM. Vanquish need to switch on very quickly.
I mean, I just love this out of PBM. Like, they're doing such a good job of just manipulating the clock and forcing the issue. Like, Sanga knew that challenge was going to be coming through. It was probably the best chance for Brian to maybe try to clutch that situation. It doesn't work out, but he was still holding the irons. Another quick hit over towards A. This time, Vanquish being a little bit more respectable, and they find first blood.
You have to find these first bloods. I mean, a 3-round defense. I suppose, you know, we will see Vanquish in that full floor when they get an opportunity to find those attacks. But right now they are in a 4 versus 2 in their favor to find this 3rd round of search. Ryu and Astral are together. And it's going to be about Astral trying to find a pick here. Utility on its way. Astral. Blind as a bat. We'll have to back on down and just stuck in Winery. Worst places to be, but right now for the side of PBM, it's a tough round to find.
Sure is. You can just see they know the information. You just watch all the crosses. They're trapped inside a wine. Astral has to find a massive pick. And I mean a massive pick. And get away with their life, too. That's the most crucial part here in this 2v4. You got under 60 seconds. Ryu still has the bomb. And they might be thinking about a rotation over towards B. Now, nobody's immediately watching this exit from the backside of wine. Are they thinking about double dipping back over towards A? This would not be wise. Okay. Smart play, boys.
Ryan will be the one waiting for them. They don't have a great deal of time here, though. 30 seconds to go. You've not had any map presence over towards anywhere outside of Winery, so you'll feel the need to check corners. You honestly do not have time. Brian is going to be ready and waiting. He's going to find at least one here. You would like to fit. There's the first. The second is there. Brian will clean it up. 3 apiece. Vanquish turned it on when he needs to, but PBM with some life here. Over towards the defensive side for them. Already with 3 rounds. That's not a bad outing on your attacking side.
I mean, you're happy splitting that, right? 50-50, 3-3 on both sides. Now it's just about locking things down on the defensive half. You go back, especially for, you described that map number 1. Sounds like one team's got a little bit more pace. Hopefully PBM are ready to deal with that as the aggression's coming over towards B.
Not so much able to deal with it initially, though. But they do still have some numbers to try and find a retake, but it's just so difficult when this bomb site is down and everybody from Vanquish is alive and kicking. The big player to get rid of straight away is going to be number 5. That's going to be Leia. Ready and waiting to hold down the spawn side. You can see he's found a kill on the minimap. Axis waiting in this corner. We'll find another. Yeah, good luck getting back into this site. Vanquish. That's a bit more like what we probably thought we were going to see throughout the search and destroy here as they find their first attacking round.
That's got to be the immediate question, right? I mean, PBM going to have to force to retake once Vanquish fully assault a site, and they have full coverage of it as well. They haven't looked good at being the aggressors. They've been good at playing counter-aggression. It just comes down to these opening first few fights. Good nades over the top, but the trophy system's going to be there right to deny it. That's the information. You know that they should still be lurking around A, and this is the snail space that PBM have done well on the opposite side. Can they hold?
One's already found a route through, though. A little bit of an awkward shot. Elias will eventually get taken down. Kirby finds a second, somehow getting something going here. Oh, the third was pixels away. Not once, but twice. Now a 2 versus 3 for the side of Vanquish. There's another. Axis will find one himself. There'll have to be a collective ace between Axis and Kirby if they want to try and find this round. Now back on down, but the problem they've got is that bomb is securely in that A site. But can they find the kills? The nade was initially put down. Kirby will flank after that as well. Ryu in the corner may well catch one. He does not at all. It's 4 in the round from Kirby, and Vanquish have a 5th.
Yeah, just marching their way towards a 2-0 lead here in this series. Just raw aggression looking quite good for them.
Defend the objectives.
And yeah, it's just having to deal with these initial fights. The nades are great, but you even had some semblance of numbers through that opening salvo. The early rotation was the response, and it's going to be the response once again. Axis still finds first blood. The double snipers. Why not 3 in the feed? Golly, making a flawless round.
I mean, this is just relentless from the side of Vanquish. There's another Kirby. 11 kills to his name. 6-3. 1 round away from Vanquish. A minus scare here in the Search and Destroy is all it seems to have been. And I think it arguably came from a bit of disrespect, a bit of lack of awareness from the side of Vanquish, which, I mean, if they're going to be going up against Animus next, are definitely going to have to sharpen up on that side of things. You cannot be giving things over towards a squad like that. You give it over towards PBM, things got a little bit scary, but you'll be looking to close it out here in round number 10. Brian finding a way through. It's going to be about Killia trying to find something, can't find anything. Sanga's being back down, everybody getting very, very aggressive. Gon can find another. Ryu and Astro not answering back. 3 versus 3, shots towards the backside. And now a little bit of a dangerous spot because you haven't got the bomb down. It's kind of like fish in a barrel if you don't have control of it towards that top side. BBM have a chance in this round.
But they have all the information now, no ton. Like, they already cleared. They saw at least 2. Gon's cleared all through mid. He's not been shot at over by A. And Brian never lost the bomb. Up to 10 kills. A bomb site is theirs. Kirby will probably die, but it still might be that PBM could truly think that they might still be going towards this site. No, catches one lacking. He's not immediately traded. And now he knows where the rest are.
How on earth has he got away with this? Bomb down over towards A, and this is a disaster now for PBM because you know Kirby's around. You're going to have to check corners, right? Ryuki as well. Puts himself in a position to do something in this round, but 22 seconds. You need to start moving. You need to start moving quickly. There's just not enough time. They've taken the long way around. Sanga will fall. And now down to Ryu. Left in a 1 versus 2. Shots fired in. 11 seconds to go. Vanquish will be closing this one out 7-3. 2-0 up in this series. They are speed running their way towards a matchup with that.
I mean, it was a great couple looks for PBM, especially in the early few rounds on offense on Tunisia. The way that they slow rolled the entirety of those rounds into a snail's pace was quite admirable. I will not lie. But when it comes down to it, you go back towards the aggression, and yeah, it's going to continuously work for Vanquish every single time. They get a single look at information, and they continue to press the issue. And there also needs to be a certain conversation maybe started, not a full-on dialogue, I suppose, but when push comes to shove and all the pressure is on, you just cannot allow a flank to come through. I mean, on the mini-map aside, like, I know from a player's perspective, like, that last moment looks entirely different, but I mean, how has he just gone and slipped in between 3 defenders through the B bomb site and got back behind the 3rd player to completely start the entirety of that bomb in the post-plant situation? It makes absolutely no sense, but 11-6 out of Brian will certainly help out your chances to be up 2-0 in this series for sure.
Incredible work from Vanquish, who will be looking to jump into this control, get it over and done with, and get into the game up against Animus. And that's going to be a really interesting one when we do get there, if we do get there. But
sure,
you know, it's just one of those situations where if you're PBM, you need to find, well, another 5 gears at this stage. Unfortunately, going up against Vanquish, just making it look very, very simple at this moment in time. And yeah, not a lot to write home about. It's kind of another one of those games where we are feeling that top heaviness to a certain degree here. We are seeing these teams who are at the very top of their game, at the top of things in Europe, and they know exactly what they're doing. The others look a step behind. We're going to be heading over towards a raid as well, and it is, again, I think every single map that has been picked in these first 3. For Vanquish, you are going in, and it's fundamental hardpoint, it's fundamental search and destroy, and it is fundamental raid control. It is just a perfect map pick for, I suppose, a better team here.
Look, it's a map mode combination has been around for a long time. Raid's been a very long time. You know, I'm happy I have a fellow old head on this cast. Would you rate Raid higher or lower than Hacienda as a hardpoint and control map?
Higher.
Nice.
Higher.
Man.
The answer is always higher when it comes down to it.
I knew I would enjoy drinking a glass of wine with you, but control here for Vanquish, it should be pretty good for them, honestly speaking. I mean, like, core fundies should be on point. Spawn traps, not as egregious as Arsenal, but still existing. You'd like to imagine that their team shots would continue. And yeah, that was my first time seeing that scoreline when we popped up that best of 5 series. Oh, yikes.
Oh, and that was actually, to be honest with you, PBM actually got a full 60 towards P2 the second time around.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they did well. Just a shame about the other 5 hills. Here we are. Leia now trying to hold something down towards the speed side. PBM have made all their aggression towards this side, and oh, if you get wiped like that, sometimes things can, well, be a little bit dangerous throughout the rest of the map. Helios can do well, though. Does find 2 and eases that pressure.
All right. Opening break off, at least dead even. They spawn parallel over towards ring. Now, Layer's the only player over here. You isolate that 1 kill. Got 1 in towards the back. Tough head glitches, though, and yeah, it's just not easy gunfights. You just need 1 player to be able to pop that 2-piece there if you are PBM. Doesn't exist. Now Kirby's got the free flank for the spawn trap.
Oh, no, this is bad now. This is bad news. They found themselves in towards the garage side, but actually have nobody over towards the bedroom side. I see players pushing now down the double stairs just to get towards pool, just to stop players getting out if they can. And that is maybe easier said than done. PBM do, well, for a moment find a slight route out. Sanga can actually find 2. And we'll get some inroads over towards A, but right now his teammates are getting farmed off the respawn. You can stop the time, you can give them a route out, but has to be said, good job from Sanga to get his team out somewhat. Spawn trap does end momentarily.
If it's not the time, it's going to be the lives, though, Ton. 19v8, 24 seconds left. Right, he's got to make a big play happen, and Helios is there for the assistance. Trades are still looking okay for Vanquish to maybe re-assault this. It's just a single segment that PBM's working on so far. They still trail by 8 lives.
Smoke.
This is a winnable scenario for the side of PBM, but Vanquish still in an extremely strong position. Nade out towards Helios. That should at least find 1. If the cleanup isn't there as well, I'd be surprised Kirby can find it. Leon will find another on top of Axis. Ryu's the only one who can answer. And now we're 12 versus 3, making it 12 versus 2. Astral and Helios just in a world of pain. Coming in off the respawn. Yeah, welcome back to the game, boys. Leia's shots, not the crispiest. But it doesn't matter when there's 2 seconds left on the timer. Vanquish, a dominant round number 1. As dominant as they have been over the last 2 maps. Vanquish looking to get this one done early.
Gonna be feeling at least happy, I guess. Would you feel happy with 1 tick here, Ton? I would be, but it was better than the none, so.
True.
That's what I always like to say. 1 is more than none. Because it is true, but we'll have to see how this opening round does develop for Vanquish. Look at all the operators they have at their disposal. They're running it down straight over towards B. You got 1 player, that's Brian, through mid, finds 2 inside a kitchen. Now he's got a pinch inside of pillars, and they didn't even need any of the operators. I mean, it is a staple for raid control. When you win the first round and you get back over towards offense to rip all of your operators, they don't even do that. Vanquish get that first segment immediately.
And Kirby just absolutely slaughters them off the respawn.
Lovely.
PBM do a pretty good job, actually, to hold that down for a moment. Somehow, Brian actually got his shot off onto Helios there. And now Axis has the equalizer inside of Kitchen. This is a disastrous scenario for the side of PBM. He's looking like it's going to go down. And I like that push out, actually, from the side of PBM. They're going to make a move over towards top bedroom side. Axis, those. Oh, my goodness me. Kiliak dealt with. And now all of a sudden they turn their attention over towards this A side, and while PBM may well be trying to spawn trap whoever's left on Vanquish, but you need your teammates to be able to kill them for the spawn trap to be effective. Ryu's the only one left who can really do a great deal about this. Everybody else spawning in quite literally Narnia gone. Maybe other chances of PBM in this series right now as the claw is out, and this is all but over. They will find a couple of kills though. Axis inside of the point will eventually fall, so establishing some sort of control, but when you're 20-6 down on lives, it's hard to really give them too much hope yet.
Yeah, I'd say numerically, statistically, yeah, visually, like it's all just, oh, it's so gross. 13-7 out of Kirby, 15-6 now out of Gone. I mean, that is just gross. 15v1, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Vanquish now up 2-0. And it's like the opening breakoffs aren't looking too bad for Vanquish, but it's just like the returning gunfights. Like they only got that 1 segment at B, but then Kirby was like, you know what, maybe we probably should have popped an operator, and he pulls in the War Machine and just blows like 3 immediately out of the ring, and then they capture it. So I don't know. It's the returning gunfights for me, but PBM are fighting. It would have to be a full reverse sweep here on the raid control. They got operators to start things off, but Vanquish, they got the gunnies, hun. They got the gunny.
They do indeed. It's a hard watcher if you're a PBM fan right now, because they are getting farmed. But Ryu can actually find something with the equalizer here. Now we're going to try and get aggressive with it. Wait for the rest of his team to come on through. He will continue find moments with the equalizer, but Axis is doing the exact same thing with the sniper. Equalizer still doing damage, and a push over towards B is what's going to unfold here for the side of PBM. I'm going to try and keep that pressure on. Shots need to be there, and so a moment here for PBM over towards this B side. Vanquish still in control of this series and of this map. That nade is picture perfect from Brian. Are you kidding me? Shout out the observers for that one as it lands on his forehead, and now all of a sudden you're back into a potential spawn trap of the War Machine. Farming you down. I mean, PBM at this moment in time still have some sort of control though. The kill's not falling the way of Vanquish.
And the War Machine finds nothing. Sanga's got a claw over by Ring. First segment should be locked. They should be stacking this, and you know that one's going to be coming around to the backside of the spawn. You try to chow. Axis is watching from open stairs. Here comes the flank from Kirby. And, well, it's just the last player will be Helios playing inside a Ring, and he doesn't know which way to look because of all of his teammates are just dead. And it's another one of those moments where, like, if you're looking at it from PBM's perspective, like, it was looking so good until it just wasn't. Axis finds that first kill, and then it's all just blood spilled across Ring. Operators get pulled. 12 seconds remain.
It's tough going up against some of these top-end teams. Respect over towards PBM for showing something, at least in the control and the search and destroy. But Vanquish looking like a team who really do want to show something up against Animus, which is going to be their next matchup. Coming to you immediately after this one. 10 versus 4. PBM still working on something over towards this B side to try and get something going. Killian finds some good shots though. Just a slow start of the series for him.
Hold up.
9 versus 3. Will get a hold of B. Helios can find another as well, but a 2 versus 8 here proper. Just unlikely to happen. He does have an operator. Can he do anything with it? Oh, unlikely. This Helios will only find one. Ryu will be dealt with. And it just felt like that one went on a lot longer than we expected. It will be Vanquished to take that one away. A 3-0 victory for him, or for them, I should say. That is as convincing as you're ever really likely to see. Outside the Search and Destroy, which I think Vanquish will probably look back at and sort of say to themselves, could we be a little bit stronger there? But realistically speaking, I think they knew the game was over as much as we did.
It's stronger is the wrong. Can they be more patient? I think it's the right. Yeah, it's one thing knowing like you got the better gunny in the lobby, but just a little bit of patience, and I think all of that patience paid off there in those 3 rounds of control. It was just an onslaught, and probably the reason being why those opening breakoffs were so close. But I want to go back towards Vanquish's what was it, their initial round of offense. They're in round number 2 where they did their opening breakoff without a single operator whatsoever. That's respectable, and whether it was meant to be BM, I didn't take it that way at all. I think it was more respectable to be able to say, hey, when you're going up against these top teams, you're going to be having offensive times where you don't have the luxury of having operators, because it will be that close against other top teams, specifically the one you're about to be facing. So I don't mind that little bit of a practice, and it was really well done and well orchestrated as well, as Axis goes 24-10, continuously sniping across the map, 22-12 out of Kirby. These are just your usual suspects. You need to stay hot amidst this rampage, and a little bit of cool off for their upcoming match.
There we go. Vanquish find everything they need to. A 3-0 win and set up a lovely date with Animus, which is going to be coming up soon. Lauren, excited for this one.
I mean, another strong performance out of Vanquish. Do want to give a little bit of love to Ryu. They're 20-13 in the final round of control. So trying to step up there for PBM, but Vanquish was just single-mindedly ready to close this one out as quickly as possible yet again. So now it'll be interesting to see what we can do up against a juggernaut in a team like Animus. I think that this is going to be a really fun way. And don't forget, as we get to take a look at the bracket, that does not mean the PBM is out of the competition yet. They'll drop down into that lower bracket alongside RHH, and they will both wait until next week to have another opportunity to try and steal one of these spots here for the challenge finals. Of course, whoever wins that lower bracket match will move on to the next one and face off against whoever loses the next match we have here today between Animus and Vanquish. So it still will not be an easy road, as both of those teams will be formidable for anyone coming out of the lower bracket. But that means we are just moments away from qualifying our third team through to the challenge finals here in EU, which is very exciting. And it's going to be a matchup between Animus and Vanquish. I think this is going to be a great way to close out day number 3 or week number 3 here in our challenge season. I'm excited to see what both these teams can do proper.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm excited to sit there on my couch. I can actually see it over top of my monitor. I got some ground beef. I'm going to make a burger. I'm going to make some fries as well. And I'm going to have myself a doozy of a Sunday and watch this banger of a match.
Honestly, that sounds great. I might have to get that set up for myself as well while we watch the boys close out match number 3, because it's going to be one everyone at home should definitely be settling in for. And at the end of the day, really paying attention to what Animus can bring to the table just overall, because we've already finished Group A, so don't forget that part. We have Exclusive and S-Cubed still waiting in the wings to move through to Challenge Finals, and I think people are going to be really excited when the time comes to see what Animus and Exclusive can do if they end up facing off, which they probably will. So this is going to be great. All right, so before we get into match number 3, though, we need to give our teams a little bit of time to get those picks and bans through, get themselves set up and ready for the lobby, which means it's time for another short break, so don't go anywhere. You're watching the Snapdragon Pro Series.
I hold shift with your next iteration of pro tips, this time with the French sensation Guithilla. My guy, I gotta know first and foremost, there's been a lot of conversation. 4 fingers, 5 fingers. How many are you playing with?
5 fingers. I'm in this team. For me, 5 fingers, it's great for the ADS. I can hold the ADS and not tap. That's a big difference for me.
Totally fair. Have you messed around with your FOV at all? What FOV are you playing on right now?
Actually, I play with 65 FOV, and I didn't change since the beginning. For me, it's a middle FOV. It's good for me. It's enough.
Love it. So before you load up for these competitive games, or maybe before you start a rank session, what is your normal go-to warm-up routine?
Okay, I go in training shoot, of course. For me, I like to training on bot, but first they don't move. But don't move like this. I just train to flick a little bit on different bot, and after they're gonna move, they go on the left, they go on the right, and I do it during 20 minutes. That's my session before match, before rank, before scrim.
Do you do any fine tuning with your sensitivity, or do you have a number that you're locked in on right now?
About sensitivity, about the aim?
Yeah.
I play with, I don't know if I play with acceleration sensitivity, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, that's special. Actually, every pro players don't play acceleration. They play fixed sensitivity. And for me, I'm thinking about this. I don't know if I have to change, because it's so hard to be consistent. You know, some days I will have the best aim, and sometimes my aim is not good because it's so hard to manage the acceleration. But I played like this since the beginning, so sometimes it's incredible. I can turn so fast, it's crazy.
And then final question, whether you're joining into a ranked lobby or you're just joining up to play with scrims, what is your current favorite loadout?
For scrim, my favorite loadout is the USS, of course. I play the USS, that's the meta, normally I play a rifle. I'm a rifle player. I'm a support player in Scrim, but this SMG is just insane. You can move, you can aim, you can kill a guy from so far. It's crazy. This gun is really good.
Fair enough. Well, that's pro tips with Guithilla. Make sure you get yourself tuned up and ready to go with settings from Guithilla.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where we are moments away from arguably the match of the evening or the afternoon, depending what time zone you're in, where you're at, and this is going to be a fun one. We've been waiting on this. We have Animus versus Vanquish from our upper bracket final, and this match will be determining which team is the third team to move through to the challenge finals. So this will make one team's journey a lot easier, and then whoever loses is not out of the competition. They'll drop down into that lower bracket and wait to see who they face off against next week when we close out the challenge season, because I can't believe we're already talking about the fact that we're almost done with our challenge season. We've got Ton back in here with Bobby, ready to go. I'm excited for this final match.
Yeah, I'm hoping Bobby isn't going to leave me like Andy did as well. I don't think Bobby would ever do that to me either. So, that's a positive. But look, I'm really excited for this final game. We're looking at it as the two best teams in this group have ultimately made it through their first games, which is as we did expect. When it comes down to this game, though, I think a lot of people will be leaning in one direction, and that is towards the Animus side. But Vanquish have impressed me for the most part. So I'm curious to see what they can kind of bring to the table here. They will be coming into this one as underdogs, but I don't know how far behind they're actually going to be.
I think that's the big question, right, Bobby?
Yeah, no question. I mean, Brody abandoned me last week. Proper abandoned you this week, so it should be smooth sailing the rest of the way through. Animus, I don't see anybody on this roster that's going to abandon their squad. They're just stacked across the table. You got a sub who's dropping a 5 KD in search and destroy. Like there's really not a weak link. It's all going to be on Vanquish to once again, like we talked about for the last matchup. They're going to really have to play at the top of their game and not make any mistakes. They've got some talent on there. They've got some experience, but it really has seemed like Exclusive and Animus are just in a completely different league from a lot of these teams.
Yeah, man, I think that's kind of what the rest of the region has been chasing as far as ability goes. They want to make sure that they can kind of catch up to the teams that have, for the past X amount of seasons, been at the top. We get a chance to see what they've chosen here over the break for their picks and bans, Ton, starting with an Arsenal Hardpoint.
Yeah, I think an Arsenal Hardpoint coming in is a test, I suppose, for both these two teams to see how much you really have been grinding on this one. I mean, we're expecting, look, it's been there for a while now, but it's still relatively new comparatively to some of the others. Kurahana coming through as well, I suppose, plays a little different to something like Tunisia or something. But Takeoff is okay. It can be a little bit more difficult for some of these teams to find an attacking side. Let's see if it is going to come down to that fundamental defense. Slums is fundamental again. I think if I'm Vanquish, I'm happy enough with this one. There is enough of a curveball in this series that you can potentially get something going, but it's hard to say up against Animus. They have absolutely everything that they need to have. They have every single facet covered. So let's see how it's going to go down. But I think if I'm Vanquish, I'm relatively happy, yeah.
Bobby?
I would agree with that. I think the Takeoff might not be best case scenario given the fact that we just saw Animus handle business there, but I think you look across the rest of it, Kurahana Metropolis is not a map that we see too terribly often, so it is going to be the Animus map pick, but maybe not one that teams are super familiar with. So I think there's absolutely an opportunity right there. Once again, it's going to be all about the execution.
Well, chat, let us know your thoughts on who you think is going to be taking the third spot in our challenge finals, because our players are ready to go. Match number 3 is about time to get underway. So let's see who that third squad is.
Well, here we go, Bobby. We have the big boys of this group going up against Vanquish, who the new upstarts to a certain degree. I think for me, you look at Vanquish, and it was their win up against Queens that really did make you think, okay, right, this roster potentially got something here. They're going to be in this hat for the top teams in Europe. And I think whatever happens in this game, I fully expect Vanquish to go through as the second team from this group if they do lose to Animus here. Vice versa, the same way around as well. If Animus did go on to lose, I'd be very surprised if they didn't make it through. But the question remains is, how close are they to the consensus top team in Animus? Well, we're going to find that out right now.
All right. It's a map that Animus, I would imagine, will feel pretty comfortable on. A lot of very solid ARs on that roster. I look over at the Vanquish side, and they've got some experience. Kirby, who I think is actually formerly on Exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. It was at least a sub on that roster. And across the board, a couple players that we recognize from the EU scene, but Kairu's coming out guns blazing right there. Animus not missing a whole lot. And they'll get early hardpoint control right here. And that P1, one of the easier P1s to hold, especially as far as potential contest and everything goes. Marvel's going to lock that down and be able to hit some additional shots, cleans things up with the machine pistol, nearly cleans up 2. Kirby's going to be 1 HP. Once again, the reinforcements are there for Animus. They're hitting the flank, and they're cleaning them up, wiping them down. Animus up 30 already in this one. This has been a clean P1, about as clean as you'll find.
Yeah, very clean. I think if Vanquish were trying to find a push through the Windows side, and Yathilla's like, hey, yeah, no, this is my window, lads. You cannot find a push through. Yeah, Leia can find 2. Says does the exact same thing back, and now P2 rotation is going to come through. They do have somebody towards the back side, though. That's going to be Kirby. Oh, it's not. Sorry, it's going to be Axis. Can he do anything with it? No, they hunt him down, and then they will turn around. They're quite happy to forego the front control of this hill just to make sure that their spawn is cleared out. They then clear out the hill, and this is some more potential time on the board. Every single time I go into a game with Animus involved, and there's another team who potentially have something, you always get shut down pretty much straight away, and that's how things have went. 50 seconds already on the board and climbing very, very quickly for the side of Animus here over towards P2.
And they've not really had a response. It hasn't mattered where they're spawning, what the power control positions are. Animus are just getting the better of the gunfights at every turn. Brian having a rough start to this one with only 2 kills on the board. Marvel, not big numbers for himself, but locking down hard point time right there. And once again, they've set themselves up perfectly, up 60 points so far in this one. Rotations to P3 going to be crucial. We got 2 players already on the way. That's going to be Says and Kairu, and some of the util goes out, but the opening gunfights go the way of Animus once again. One going to get shut down. Kairu taken out right there. So now the opening for Vanquish to finally get into double digits. We do see that Death Machine come out for Gothilla, but he gets shut down. First real opportunity for Vanquish here.
I think this is the time to dust yourself down and see what you can find. 50 seconds here remaining. Over towards P3. If you can find this time, things are looking rosy and you'll be well and truly back into this game. But it's a big if now as the pinch is starting to develop. Leia can find something. The Sparrow not quite good enough to kill Marvel, but the claw is. No one can find that. And we'll find another as well with the USS-9. A really nice job so far from Vanquish. 30 seconds remaining here. They're holding strong.
Marvel's going to pop the War Machine right here, seeing what he can do. They get clearance toward that stair side. One more player left in contest. That should be a Sparrow shot connecting, and indeed it is. And Says and Gothilla, teamwork to cut down the rest of those remaining players. Vanquish, easily their strongest hard point so far, but still not really able to cut away at that lead in a meaningful way, trading out hard point time as Marvel's already on rotation right here, but he is all alone. It is 4 Vanquish players storming the castle. They find the break on in, so once again, starting to chip away. Those operators come on out. That's going to be Exy with the equalizers. A little cheeky spot right here for anybody that wants to make their way up the ramp side. Kairu's going to spot him out, but the damage is done. 1 taken down and should have the assist right there as Vanquish continue to stack up on this time and doing a really good job of going toe-to-toe with this Animus squad.
And this is kind of what they needed. They got a good hold over towards the previous hill. They find a route over towards the next, get themselves set up, and that's 2 rotations, 1. And the potential for some more points on the board. They can't quite overtake Animus with any more time over towards this hill. A little contestant comes in, and Animus is going to have to back on down towards the next hill. You can see them fighting over the scrap time. And I wonder if that's just a pride thing. Like, don't you dare let them get a full 60 against us. Well, they pretty much just did. Say's now trying to get across to lock down the cuts, and they will start to find some good gunfights. One has been won over towards the backside by Kirby, though. It's going to divert some attention. They're going to try and concentrate on him. He will find another, eventually does get traded out. So that is going to be an under lock and key setup here for the side of Animus. 4 minutes to go, and with this setup, can they find some good time? Because Vanquish have answered back very, very quickly.
Off the start of this one, it looked like it was going to be another cakewalk for Animus, but adjustments have been made for Vanquish and some very convincing breaks as they've been able to apply a lot of pressure on the hardpoint layer. Does end up taking himself off the Sparrow. The kills come through for Vanquish regardless, continuing to press forward, forcing out the operators from Animus. Only one kill going to go the way of Marvel before he's taken down off that War Machine. Gothilla, Death Machine, seeing what he can find. Only one kill so far, but still a whole lot more ammo remaining, and he's going to find the flick onto Lair. Gives him a little bit of clearance as they built back this lead. Still not quite to what it was heading into that P4 rotation, but still some big time kills coming through. And now back up to 40 points, make it 50 is Animus.
I think that's one of those moments where Animus do get that little bit of breathing room that they'll be happy for, because to be honest, as you mentioned, we've seen the first couple of hills and we're like, oh, this series might be over pretty quickly. But Vanquish showed a couple of different rotations, a couple of nice holds. And to be honest, even towards that final hill, you forced a lot of operators out from the side of Animus, who will still have some cooking here as we head over towards P1 with 50 seconds remaining. But it's not a bad rotation of hills from Vanquish whatsoever, but you're struggling over towards P1. You struggled here last time. And it seems to be a carbon copy of how things really did kick off towards the start of the game. That's going to be 3 kills coming through for Vanquish. Says shuts it down. And once again, just finding it hard to find those final kills.
Now it's all the way back up to what, 70, 80 points, maybe even bigger than the lead was previously. Both of these teams taking turns stacking hard point time. The equalizers get shut down once again. Vanquish do a good job of dealing with some of this utility, but haven't really found any success on the breaks into the hard point. Now doubling up is Animus on what looked like it was going to be a tie game. This one has been blown wide open, and they've got streaks to work with as well. Marvel's going to drop the pred right here. That gives them information, and he's just going to continue to hover above before finally taking down Kirby. Squad's going to know exactly where to expect those engagements to come from. And they've got the setup on the lower side as well as the spawns.
Oh, the timing that just not working out for the side of Vanquish. Marvel will be able to bring out the War Machine and eventually starts to find something, but a good investment here from the side of Vanquish, actually. Leia doing sensational work, and he's still going here with the Sparrow. Finds the breakthrough, 40 seconds to play for, and Vanquish, some brilliant investment, but is it going to be enough with the close spawns coming through from Animus? It's going to be about this next wave of kills. Vanquish need to find them. They need to find this time. They've invested heavily, and they would like some nice returns. Shark can find the gunfight. Not going to quite happen. Animus just about holding on with these close spawns.
Says makes his way to the top side of the ladder, going to be able to find one, and last player's cleared out on the hop over. He's going to get one more for the cherry on top. It looks like Vanquish does have the setup off the rotation right here, but once again, 2 players already on the way for Animus. That's going to be Kairu spearheading the attack right here. Gone taking shots, but no kills to be found. Both Vanquish players left alive. So they've done what they need on this rotation. It's a question of whether or not they're able to hold down spawns. You got one operator charged on the side of Animus. That's Kairu. And Says with a streak as well. Vanquish doing a phenomenal job off the start of this one to keep things reinforced. And it looks like the operator's going to come out to give them a little bit of breathing room.
Axis finds one off cam and then 2 right in front of our very eyes, but the spawns towards the back. Are you aware of this? If you Vanquish, you got to turn around pretty quickly. Ryan in the corner, he can find a good amount of value there, finds one, but the pinch was potentially set up, and now you're in a little bit of trouble. Kairu does really well. The gravity vortex gun just there to zone off. He'll start to come through though. Godzilla though here with the War Machine. I mean, it's just so difficult with the Death Machine in this scenario to try and find this cross. Just gonna rain bullets down. Axis has somehow found a way through and somehow dodging the bullets, if only momentarily. Godzilla needs a little bit of help. Oh, 3 kills from Godzilla. And only for those final 7 or 8 seconds, but Animus now within touching distance. Vanquish did put up a fight over that first rotation, and a big amount of their time came over here towards P4, but they were the first ones there last time. They are not the first ones there this time.
Yeah, that was really the turning point. Basically a full 60 for them, but Kairu's going to be there to cut down those initial players. We got Marvel with a War Machine. He's just going to be able to completely spray down both of those sides. Not able to find the last kill onto Axie right there as Vanquish keeps it contested. The damage is done as reinforcements at least get a little bit closer. Says finds one. Not going to be able to make it 2, and Vanquish really playing this as well as we've seen them played any given hardpoint so far has been their money hill so far in this one. Shark's not going to be able to win the gunfight onto the point. And once again, it's either been time upward or contest time all the way through for Vanquish. Animus just not able to find any amount of clearance. And even though they only need 13 more seconds to get the win in this one, Vanquish do a good job, but the break comes through and they've got to find contest right here. Animus can potentially win it.
Yeah, Vanquish need to find a way through. They can't win it now if you're Animus, but look at the rotation. If you Says, you keep them at bay, and now you just need to run across the other side of the map very, very quickly. They do have the numbers here, though. Cthulhu staying up top. They're not on the point because they want to think that they've got it locked down. Animus, though, starting to find the kills. Brian can find one back. It spawns towards his backside for Vanquish. You are still staying alive here, Bobby. They're managing to just about hold on in this game. Says can find one. It's just uncontested. Shots from Says can find 3. Make it the 4. Doesn't quite find the 5th. But Vanquish are still here. Animus still needing 6.
Says looked like he was going to be able to do everything necessary to close it out, but somehow Vanquish find a way through the gunny, and another equalizer is going to pop, but Axie hops out, gives up his life. Teammates are still reinforcing on the point. Vanquish refused to give this one away, and we got a War Machine ready to go for Kirby. We'll see what he can find, but Cthulhu has been so big with the Death Machine in this one, but he's going to drop as well.
Absolutely nothing. Animus have been about 6-7 points away for what feels like an eternity. Now their first one's in over towards P1, and Says might have just called game. Make it 4 in a row. Over towards P1 once more. Vanquish need to find something. Says may well have just solidified this game for the side of Animus. The kill feed looks like it's going one way and one way only. Player can find 2 with the Sparrow. Can he find any more? The contestant is here, though, and all of a sudden Vanquish on their way. Marvel's left all on his own. Vanquish need to find a break. They can't get it done, and Animus just about get the win. Incredible map number 1 between these two teams. And I think from the get-go, it really did feel like, okay, Animus are going to be here to play. We know what to expect from them. But Vanquish did not have quit in them whatsoever.
Yeah, no question about it. And it was really all about the P4s for them. They got, full 60 on the first one, and they may not have gotten full 60 on the second one, but kept it at least in control or contested the entire time. Phenomenal operator investment to close that gap, and it was really only on the back of a couple just absurd feeds from Says that Animus were able to close that one out. I think it was a couple individual 4 feeds for him, and he finishes with 53 here in the Arsenal Hardpoint to give Animus the opening win. But this matchup very clearly not going to be nearly as easy as the last one for Animus.
Absolutely not. It did feel like they were going to run away with it. When you see the first 2 hills, you're like, oh, here we go, another Animus series. But it just started to spin on its head, especially over towards P4. Vanquish had so much joy over towards that side of the map. Just a shame we only go there once per rotation, or they may well have had a much bigger chance than they did end up having towards the end of that one. But look at the numbers. 55 from Says, above and beyond everybody else in the lobby. Incredible performance from him, and just no real outliers. Everybody throwing everything towards that one. Vanquish, really good job to keep it close. As mentioned, they just really had a lot of fight in them, but Animus will ultimately and inevitably come away with map number 1. Map number 2 going to be coming up next. We have a series on our hands here, Bobby. It feels that way.
Yeah, no question about it. And Marvel, once again, just showing out in every aspect. Obviously, the kills are the glamorous part of that stat line, but Marvel going 2 minutes in the hill with a 1.5 KD as well, really doing the dirty work for his squad. And that's a big reason that they were able to close that out, because it ended up being way closer than expected. Now you get ready to head into a Kurahana Metropolis, where we saw Marvel's team vitality last year actually look really strong in a number of instances. So interested to see what they're going to bring to the table in that one. Once again, we don't see it nearly as often as a lot of the other alternatives. Teams have really loved the Coastals, the firing ranges, the Tunisias so far this season. So bit of a curveball right here. We'll see if Vanquish are able to capitalize on it and try to take a map in this series.
Yeah, let's see if they can find something. Look, the search and destroy for them in Tunisia in the previous series, I think there was a bit of complacency there when you were going up against the opposition they were against. Completely forgetting the name of how we even communicated that. But you're going up against Animus, you're not going to get those same opportunities. You are not going to be able to make any missteps. Kurahana coming up, you need to be perfect here if you're on the side of Vanquish. But ultimately, Animus do find themselves 1-0 up. As expected, but maybe not in the manner that we got to see in that map number 1.
All right. See what they're bringing to the table. If there's any counter for the snipers on the side of Animus. We saw Kairu and Marvel doing damage big time in that first round of Search and Destroys. This time, Vanquish going to look for a response, and they're going to get aggressive over toward the A side right here. 5-man push, all utility over the top. Utility and response is going to do damage big time. Shark's going to be able to find 3, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and that completely halts the push for Vanquish. Adjustments have been made, and there's one player on the flank. That's going to be Gothilla, and that should be all but the end of the round as he's there to clean things up.
Axis was holding that down for a decent amount of time. As soon as he spins on his head, yeah, guess who comes around the corner? That's Gothilla. Great job from the side of Animus, as you would really come to expect from them. And now we head into another round in Animus. With a nice start over towards the defensive side, but it's the manner of the round that they find that becomes a little bit worrisome, especially if you're on the side of Vanquish. Dealt with by Shark. Good shots coming through from Gothilla. They're just offering them no map pressure. Vanquish are playing a little scared right now in the Search and Destroy. Well, maybe rightfully so. You are playing against Animus, but you can't allow them this much pressure.
Yep. Says is going to be able to get really far forward. One player tucked in the corner is gone, and he's going to be able to find one, so gives the team some breathing room, brings things into a 4v4. Animus still very, very spread across the map. A lot of angles that you're going to have to clear off if you're Vanquish, but you force Kairu off of that heady, and now give yourselves an opportunity to potentially wrap back a different way. Marvel's going to get shut down by Axie. Beauty of a shot out of him. And now in a 4v3, they're going to just flood through the mid-map right here. Gothilla's not able to find a pick, and they're going to be completely forced out of position as Brian picks up one.
Well, here we go. Opportunity for Vanquish to be able to answer back. Shark is in an interesting position, though. Is anybody going to spin around for this one? Brian is a free kill. Is he going to find a second here as well? Just holds his trigger. The third is right in front of him. Shark can't break the round open. Finds 2, though, and does make it possible for Kairu. Sniper out here, Gon is going to be holding this angle. Just runs out at the wrong time. Kairu gets a bit of bad timing. Now his teammate's on his way over. I can't imagine a Gon is going to challenge this one. Leia just holding it down. Has to be a different angle from Kairu.
Got one to the right, one to the left.
Yeah, that's a tough one to find. Vanquish will get around back. Incredible work. And that's what they needed. Something just like that. Get them back into the round. Shark nearly shut it down. But in the end, you get the job done if you are Vanquish. Bomb goes down, you hold it down. 1 apiece after 2.
All right. Going back toward the B side with the bomb in hand. Actually, bomb is kind of isolated toward mid. As some of the util goes over top, just trying to clear out some of these off angles. And Shark has no idea that Layer's there, but he finds the kill anyway. And he actually goes prone. Might not be an anticipated position, especially off of an engagement. So there's a chance he finds another. I mean, they're still back-to-back. Neither player wants to move. And I would guess that Shark's just going to stay here until he gets a point of contact. And it looks like Vanquish going to make the play. Do they spot him out? Oh, so cheeky out of Shark. Finds another right there. He has been cooking so far in this one. 7 kills to his name. Does get shut down by Brian right there. But Gothilla gets the information across mid and will be able to wrap back. 3 players remain on this Vanquish squad to deal with the 4 of Animus. And they have to commit to something at this point. It's been a minute, 10 seconds so far in this round, and they don't really have any inroads one way or another.
Yeah, it feels like Vanquish are, again, playing a little scared. X is going to pop up here, and I think you're aware of that if you carry route. Information gain says we'll find minimum 1 here. Oh! Pump and third follows up. Says is once again spoiling the party for Vanquish. Every single time you think there might be something there, Says is on the other side of it. Animus 2-1.
Defend the objective.
3 pumps, 3 kills. That was quick cleanup out of Animus, and once again just shows the game planning and the preparation right there, knowing that once you get your sniper cleared off the heady, your shotgun's going to get at least one kill off an initial engagement right there. And that time, Kairu's not going to miss, so that slows the push that much more. Gone. Thinking about throwing a shoulder right there, but with the way that Kairu's been hitting shots today, probably would have been a regrettable decision. And once again, just a full reset. Kirby trying to ego shell Marvel off that jump peak across mid, but still nothing being afforded. And once again, Animus very willing to play the waiting game as Marvel's now going to get pushed up on the left side. Hit marker for him, but once again, he gets the information. Now teammates able to wrap. Shark's going to be able to find 2, make it 3. And Vanquish just don't seem to really be able to see him. They finally get shots on, but Marvel's there to clean it up.
Yeah, a little bit too easy in the end. Animus starting to just turn the screw on there. It's so hard though, isn't it, up against a team like Animus who have just so much in their arsenal. They have so many different strategies, so many different ways they can play the game when it comes down to search and destroy. A lot of nades over the top here though. Animus take none of it. Trophies must have been down. Kairu can find the first. He's just shooting through the smoke and finding bullets, hitting bodies. Kirby and Brian dealt with, and now all of a sudden you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Welcome to the corner you don't want to be in. Animus chasing them down. Gothilla. Did you see that last player on the left-hand side? He will do now. Wow, Animus are running through Vanquish all of a sudden. It was a close start to the game. This is not close now.
Shark's got 11 kills, and it feels like for the majority of them, nobody has been shooting back at him. He's just playing the most cheeky off angles and hitting these flanks that Vanquish had not had any reads for, and making life really easy for Animus right here. Kairu's gonna find another. Take off the entry. Shotgun for Says. Not gonna connect this time, and Gathilla's forced to dip. Opt to play his life right here, but backing up, and I think Vanquish may expect that he's made a wrap. Gone right around the corner, is going to be able to win the gunfight regardless. Now maybe an opportunity to get that bomb down, but Shark's able to catch one out of position, and Marvel finds the other. Just like that, Animus extend the lead even further, and we flip sides.
Oh, it's not pleasant viewing here for Vanquish. You really do offer up quite a decent amount of hope and opportunity in map number 1, but since then, I mean, map number 2, okay, the first 2 rounds relatively close. I mean, the second one was, and then Animus let it bleed. Since then, though, this has been an absolute clinic. Great shot from Gon to find the first. Shark will be able to answer back. 3 versus 2 in the favor of Animus, looking to try and close this one quick.
I mean, that shotgun range is just absolutely absurd.
Absurd.
Ridiculous. They find clearance onto the bomb site. Bomb goes down on B. Kirby should have an opportunity and finds a trade onto Marvel, but he's left all alone. It's going to have to be a 1v3 if he's going to convert on this one, but probably the best opportunity that they've had since that opening round. He's got Shark, who's got 13 kills on the board left to be dealt with. Hoping for some timing to go his way, but he's going to have to be first to engage right here, and that audio cue should be all that they need. Shark's there, and the damage is done by Kairu to clean it up the rest of the way. Animus now 1 round away from heading into map 3 with a 2-0 lead. Shark 13-5. Kairu has only died 1 time the entire game.
Incredible from Kairu. Shark is leading the way as far as the kills go, but just to remain ever present in these rounds, Vanquish have yet to deal with him. Says we're going to push forward and try and find something himself. Vanquish on the way over towards A though. The jig is up somewhat. Access to the middle of the map. Is he going to get picked from the other side? No, he is not. He's going to get chased down by Says. Shark will find another kill onto Gon. We've only played 7 rounds into our 8th, and Shark has 14 kills. He's going to be dealt with now. It's left in a 1 versus 3. The nade will head over towards this A side. Tickles Gothilla, but Leia now in a 1 versus 3 to keep the search and destroy alive. It's a difficult spot to be in.
Yeah, and especially when you don't have any util to work with and you're trying to entry with an SMG. I mean, the USS-9 is powerful, but you got so many headies that you got to go through. You've got a sniper, 2 snipers and an SMG on the opposite side, and once again, it's going to take absolute perfection on every engagement, but that's a good start. able to find one. Ego Chalice the second, as he's not been able to regen, nearly pays off, but no angle, and gets absolutely baited into the scope of Kairu. That's going to be Animus taking the 2-0 lead in the series, and now an opportunity to secure a spot in the challenge finals in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, they are speed running this one at this stage. I think, you know, we see that map number one, the hardpoint comeback from Vanquish. Did it feel, I don't know for you, because I think we just see that Search and Destroy and maybe expect a bit more of a battle between these two teams, because we really did get to see that in map number one. Have Animus leant forward a little bit? Because it kind of feels that way.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that, to be fair, I think that a lot of EU teams just don't spend a lot of time in Search and Destroy, and so especially for a squad like Animus that's as experienced as they are, and you got the sniper talent that they have, there's just so much more strategy, so much more planning that goes into theirs, that for a squad like Vanquish, that while talented, maybe doesn't have the know-how to handle the strategies that Animus are going to throw at you. It's going to be difficult. So Shark 14-6, 2 KD, Kairu an 8 KD. That's a number that you're not going to see too terribly often. And on this flip side, Vanquish just having a tough time keeping up.
Yeah, I think it was the pace of the Search and Destroy. They just really couldn't match it. I think Shark being able to do what he does, I mean, just hunting across the map and just finding multiple kills every single round. It is a tough position to go up against. What we played the 8 rounds, he found 14 kills. You do the math, it's nearly 2 a round. Takeoff now going to be coming up, and we see Animus look solid in this to kick off the day, but I think the opposition here, obviously a lot more capable, you want to say, to do something potentially, but I almost feel as if that map number one is going to be a flash in the pan now for Vanquish. Is the defeatist mindset there for them? Or are they heading into this takeoff thinking to themselves, right, okay, defensively heavy, let's make sure that we lock our defenses down, see what we can do from there. If we can force round 5 to go in our favor, absolutely brilliant. Let's see if you can do it. But that's easier said than done when it comes to doing anything up against Animus if you want to try and find a map win. But if there's any map you could potentially do it on, it could be Takeoff.
Yeah, no question about it. The priority has got to be on winning those opening engagements, because the second that you lose an entire wave, the spawn trap usually ensues very, very quickly. So Takeoff, naturally defensive sided, as are the majority of control maps in COD Mobile. This one maybe more than any of the others. We'll see who's got the onus to get things started on the tougher side. And even if you are on the offense, keeping in mind, if it goes to around 5, the defense will go to the side that gets more objective capture. So even if you're losing that life battle, finding a way to get onto the objective to get some early time. It looks like Vanquish going to be on the offense to start.
Let's see if they can find that opening break you talk about. Easier said than done when you're going up against Animus. I mean, the gunfights have been there, though, haven't they? You know, they found moments here and there. They just need to make sure they find these moments early on, or if you get put into that spawn trap, you're in a lot of trouble. Marvel can find one up against Kirby. Just try and stem this tide. That's 3 very, very quick kills going to go through, but Vanquish still have some bodies outside of the point. They did, and now they're forced back into the spawn. This is where it becomes very, very difficult. Cathilla and Cole starting to stack up onto the point, starting to put Vanquish back where they belong, and that is in their spawn right now. Kairu can find one. Leia may well have found a route out over towards this left-hand side. Stacey and Kairu have been backed down. The Vanquish not quite pushed back as far as they would have maybe liked them to be if you're Animus.
With the SKS getting taken off the ban list, Marvel going to work early on in this one. 4 kills to his name. Say he's going to be able to find another to pick up a USS taken down, but the damage has been done. And for Vanquish right now, the biggest enemy is time. 0 seconds on the objective so far. They've yet to stop the clock, and only 19 seconds before the end of this one. You got to get out of spawn, but once you get out, you got to find a way onto the objective. Surprised we haven't seen more smokes to try to break through. They do get a smoke on the objective, but there's nobody there to capitalize it, and now Shark's going to be able to sneak all the way through to spawn. Couple more kills do end up coming out, but the majority of them go the way of Animus, and absolutely 0 presence on the objective for Vanquish. They are heavily banking on the defense looking strong here.
Yeah, that is what we call absolutely slammed. Animus doing what they needed to do, just meticulously pick their way through the start of that round, and all of a sudden it's just a bad news bear. If you're on the side of Vanquish, what do you do from that scenario? Now, can they manage to find an attacking round? Because then that would really be the final nail in the coffin. Vanquish going to try and do the same thing here, though. Trying to find those kills in the middle of the map. They have been able to do so. Kirby will find another. Now they can start putting the pressure on themselves. Problem is that they don't have everybody. Gafilla has found a way out, and that's going to ease some pressure. Not a bad start to the round from Vanquish, though. They're up in lives ever so slightly, and Animus with very little map control.
Marvel's going to get shut down right there, as Vanquish have done a good job of keeping them on off the objective and also keeping the lives even. Xy's got one player to deal with in the top side. Gives a little breathing room once again, but you really want to make sure you don't let Animus get any takes of progress over on this objective, and we're starting to get those operators charged. 4 ready to go for Animus. Kirby, War Machine shut down instantly. Not a great sign, especially with Gothilla getting forward towards spawn with Death Machine in hand. Anybody that tries to push out that main side is going to be cut to shreds, but bad COD timing for him. Layer's going to be able to get through right there and will be able to take him down. We do see that first tick of progress through on the A side, and Say's making his way up to top red. Able to do some damage, but the main damage that's been done is those 2 ticks of progress already found for Animus.
Yeah, so whatever happens to Animus in this round, they will have an advantage heading into rounds 3 and, well, potentially 4 if we do get to see them. Now those ticks. How are Gothilla doing? Well, though, 10 versus 7, but the time is not necessarily on Animus' side. If you Vanquish could have sit deep. Seen them already pushing over towards this B side. That's a big win from Kirby, but A has been captured. That time is now added. 8 versus 7, 8 versus 6, 7 versus 6. Kills coming in here over towards the middle of the map. Axis looking for these players coming in off the respawn, but only 5 remain for the side of Vanquish, 6 for the side of Animus, and all of a sudden the game slows right down.
And at this point, the objective has to become secondary for Vanquish. You cannot afford to lose a defensive round. Say's going to get pushed forward right here. Shots do not connect, but somehow he doesn't get traded. And he's still alive as Vanquish lose 2 more players. So now it's a 2v5. Layer's got an operator. It'd be a risky investment, but you desperately need this. And he's going to get taken down. So now all down to Kirby. Got a few kills to his name, but 3 players left to deal with, and he's not going to be able to make it happen. So now Vanquish backs up against the wall. You've got no... I take it back. You got 3 operators, so you've got some ability to deal with the firepower on the side of Animus. But the offense did not look convincing whatsoever. Those operators have got to find huge value here.
They have to find something. Because on the other side of things, Animus have got plenty in their arsenal as well. Close out over towards the top side. Shark, oh no, this is a disaster. You can't let this happen. You can't all fall this early, because now you're going to be put into the spawn trap. Gondo can find a way through. Maybe a small door has been opened for the side of Vanquish to get out their spawn, because you don't want to be here when Shark's here with the equalizers. There's one, and he may well be lining a few more up, because this is a massacre right now. Kirby's done so well to find that gunfight. But Vanquish already down 11 lives, and the round's barely even started.
Actually going to be able to... Oh, not pretty there. Looked like he had an opportunity for the double kill, but he's going to get taken out. And Vanquish continue to see that life lead dwindle, or not life lead, but the deficit rather grow. Now down 9 lives and still yet to get anywhere close to the objective. Kirby, he's got a War Machine in his pocket. He's got 14 kills, most on the squad, but has not earned them much so far in this one. And now the Death Machine cut through into spawn. Nowhere to go. Fish in a barrel. He is going to get shut down, but it forces the Death, or rather the Sparrow, out from Layer. And it's already taken off the table as it's 5v18. It would take maybe even more than a miracle for Vanquish to find a way back into this one.
Animus have been talked up as the big dogs in Europe, and that dog is barking right now. 3-0 to Animus in this series up against Vanquish, who, you know, we did give some hope in this one. We thought they would be able to offer something up. We got that in the Hardpoint, not so much in the next 2 maps. That is utter domination from the side of Animus across the board. They will, of course, go over towards our challenge finals, and I can't wait to see how they do. They are the team to beat Bobby, and we really got to see that there in that series.
Yeah, no question. Looking back at the search and the control, it's a little bit hard to believe that the Hardpoint was as close as it was, and once again, credit to Vanquish for playing it as well as they did, but it absolutely felt like Animus were locked in on a different level there in the control. And once again, for this to be one of the newer maps in the control map pool and for them to look as comfortable as they were is definitely a credit to them and going to be an asset heading into the later portions of the challenge season, securing a spot in the challenge finals. Kairu, I don't think we're going to call him a sub anymore. He's going 21-9 in the control. He's putting in work. Marvel 17-9. Gathilla double positive as well. Consistency across the board, and they're the top dogs in this group for a reason.
Incredible work from Animus throughout that entire series. And they are going to be very, very difficult to beat, as we kind of expected heading into this season. But that was utter domination up against Vanquish Shoot. Well, we'll be feeling a little bit wounded after that one, Lauren.
You know, I think a really good learning opportunity, though, for Vanquish, because like you guys were mentioning, they were really able to hold their own in that Arsenal Hardpoint. So whether that's the takeaway of that's a map that they feel really comfortable on, or just starting to figure out Animus's play style, maybe Vanquish needs to work on, their S&D or whatever it is. This was a lot of information that they could have garnered that they can turn around and then apply next week when they still have one more opportunity to try and clinch that last challenge final spot. So while Animus did well, and that's definitely what we were expecting out of them, I think Vanquish showed us a little bit of promise there with the Hardpoint, Bobby.
Yeah, and this is one thing that we've talked about with the CDM playoffs happening this week as well, is one of the big things about playing these teams that you've never played against or haven't played against as much is the fact that you've now got VOD to work with to look back at where those mistakes are occurring. And especially when it comes to the control and the search and destroy, look at what the problem areas are. If you're going to have a mode to be really solid on, Hardpoint's not a bad option because S&D allows you to slow things down a lot more, look at the exact positions that enemies are holding, what strategies they're using to break through the front line, and find some way to make changes. And once again, PBM, RHH, definitely solid rosters, but I'm fully anticipating that Vanquish are going to find a way to pull things through and secure a spot in the challenge finals. But hopefully we'll see the teams in the lower bracket make those similar changes and put up a good fight.
Right. Yeah. Like everybody can see at home, next week we will be watching RHH go up against PBM. And then, of course, whoever wins that matchup will then face off against Vanquish. And whoever wins that gets that last spot in our challenge finals. So only one more week of competition. 3 teams are now solidified and we're just waiting to see who that last squad will be for challenge finals. And challenge finals happens immediately after. The very next weekend, we'll just go straight into challenge finals ton. So we are coming up on the close here.
I know. I can't believe how quickly the season goes over. I mean, it feels like in the previous years, about a year ago, I felt like I was in Poland for 3 months. Whereas now, we're just all of a sudden, we managed to get through these games with the way that the formats kind of went. We get through very, very quickly. We find our challenge finals players and teams very, very fast. And I don't think it was any surprise to see Animus there. I think for me, looking at it, Vanquish should be feeling confident, I want to say, when they do get to go up and have their opportunity again next week. I'd be very surprised if it isn't them to go through, but we will find out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as always, for everybody at home as well, if you guys happens to show up a little bit late today or you aren't able to make it next week and you just want to keep up to date with everything we've got going on here for the season or even throughout the rest of the year, because even when this comes to a close, we still have a lot more competition for Call of Duty Mobile here in the SPS. Follow us on social media. X, Insta, and Facebook will be your resources for that. Or you can, of course, join our Discord at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series, where you can hang out with our community of Call of Duty Mobile fans and stay up to date with everything in there as well. But we've made it through week 3, day 3 of the challenge season now in EU, and Animus has claimed that 3rd spot in our challenge final. So huge congratulations to them. And like we've said, it's now down to the last week for the last spot in our challenge finals. 3 teams left alive here to fight for that. and see who can claim it all. I mean, it's going to be a really exciting final week. And then, of course, Challenge Finals, even more exciting to that. Huge thank you to our casters today for carrying us through all of that amazing action. You guys absolutely crushed it. And a huge thank you to our sponsors, Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL, for helping make this whole thing possible. And of course, chat, thank you to all of you at home for hanging out with us throughout this season so far and watching all of this action go down. We've got one more week left in our Challenge Finals. We'll see you then.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL.